Mesa, California. You're watching Bring the Rain on TVX Sports Video. TVX Video, one of the top coverages in sports in Southern California, around the Southwest for nearly 20 years, and they're committed to bringing you the best in live, local, and emerging sports. Visit tvxvideo.com or check them out on YouTube and Instagram at TVX Sports Video. Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to the Freed Center on the campus of Vangaurd University. We got a good one on the way as Pacifica Christian welcome Elsinore, the Tigers, who come off that defeat against Arcadia, a 20-point defeat. They come in 1-2, a tough night for them, and trying to turn it around against a really tough team in Pacifica, who won their season opener this past Wednesday, a nail-biter, 49-48. They opened their season with a victory and want to win out in front of the home fans. A short trek from Newport as the Freed Center slowly filling out here. Pleasure to have you with us, Jared Roan, joined by JJ Johnson. And JJ, our first high school game together. And
yes, sir.
What an occasion for Bring the Rain Night, a tradition that Pacifica's been keeping alive over the last 5 or 6 years or so. And it's going to be fun to see these few teams come and bring it alive. But JJ, for Lake Elsinore, a lot to do tonight. What do they have to do as Pacifica are looking to make it 2-0?
It's going to start with Villagrana. I'll tell you that with Pacifica Christian. Yeah, they lost Ham and Valencia from last year, 2 of their top 3 leading scorers. But I tell you what, this is still a team that is Division 2A for a reason. And obviously, Elsinore only in Division 5AA here in CIF. But I tell you what, Jared, they're going to have a tall task, especially because of the fact that they struggled a little bit against Temecula Prep, only winning 43-38. We'll see how tonight works out, but this might be end up being a bloodbath tonight, Jared.
Certainly a tough task and a tall task, but one which the Tigers will surely be up for. They're the reigning Inland Empire League champions. They're second in program history, as all the captains lining up in front of us to talk it out. And each coach is looking across the way. Just waiting for this one to unfold. Just about 2:44 left to go before we get things going. But
I'll tell you what, Jared, Bring the Rain tonight is going to be certainly spectacular. There was a chance for this tradition to possibly die out because they were borrowing our gym when we still had the pit here on campus, Jared. And the fact that we were without a home gym for 2 years, rebuilding this amazing gymnasium, the Freed Center, only 2 months it has been standing, and now the fact that we're back here able to host Pacifica Christian once again. This is truly immaculate. A friendship between Pacifica Christian and Vangaurd University that most high school colleges, rarely have, especially out here because there's so many high schools and colleges, especially in Southern California. So this is certainly going to be a fun one tonight, and stick around for that men's game at 7 o'clock, because as soon as that first 3-pointers hit, we're going to have a bit of a delay.
It's going to be a frenzy. It's going to be a frenzy here in the Freed. But yeah, to your point, you see it sometimes with high schools and colleges. They sort of have that, I don't want to call it a feeder relationship, but this is much more than that.
Much more.
Between Pacifica and Vangaurd. And of course, if you're a Pacifica fan, you'd know that Vangaurd has gone through it in terms of that transitionary period to get this Freed Center up and running. You say 2 months, it feels like 2 years already. All the things that we've gone through to get this team going, or get this gym going, I should say. And finally it coming alive. And I know used to be in the pit, Bring the Rain, spend a couple of spells at OCC. But
even Concordia had their share of hosting that one too. And that one went viral for a minute as well as social media. I tell you what, Jared, I mean, the friendship between both these schools, I mean, even the Soliday family. I mean, Coach Soliday, men's basketball coach, his daughter is going to be having her first look at varsity basketball tonight. The freshman Lucy Soliday wearing number 10. So the ties run deep here between these two schools.
The roots are deep. The ties are deep. We'll see how both teams come out on the opening tip. We'll take a short break and get you back with the lineups when we come back. a chance to learn who's stepping up to bat. It's two teams, sort of different story in terms of what they've lost and what they've gained. As take a short break for prayer here.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this evening, for bringing everyone here safely and for bringing Elsinore here safely. We just thank you for all these girls and our coaches and the hard work that they've done this season and their dedication to the sport. And thank you for their family and friends who support them. We pray that everyone will do a game and that no one will get hurt. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Brooklyn. And now, please rise. Take your caps off if you have one for our national anthem sung by Pacifica Christian's own sophomore, Isidora Salazar.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets flamed the rainbows bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Isidora Salazar. And now we get to the starting lineups. First, for the Elsinore Tigers. Wearing jersey number 1, she's a senior, Shy Williams. Wearing number 4, senior, Chase McCoy. Number 13, a junior, Yara Smith. Number 21, a junior, Jazz Fowler. And wearing number 24, a senior, Marisol Diaz. The Elsinore Tigers are coached by Romeo Albrecht. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the starting lineups for your Pacifica Christian Basketball. She's a 5'4" senior, wearing number 1, Kaylee Villalona. A 5'7" junior, wearing number 2, Vivian Villalona. She's a forward. She wears number 13, a 5'9" junior, Cassandra Aguadillo. Wearing number 30, a 5'5" sophomore, Rachel
So the starters are set, and let's have a quick look. We'll start with Elsinore, as they'll be wearing the red to get us going. It'll be Shy Williams, Chase McCoy, Niara Smith, Jazz Fowler, and Marisol Diaz, the starting 5 here for the Tigers. And meanwhile, for the home side, it'll be the Villangrana sisters in Kaylee and Vivian, Cassandra Aguaniga, Rachel Ham, and Angie Martinez. They're the starters here for the Tritons as we get set for opening tip and the first serving of this Bring the Rain night. Officiating crew for tonight, Troy Jimmerman and Teresa Dash, as we're ready to jump it up and get going. Elsinore in the red, the Tritons in the white. Just making sure everything's tucked in with the jersey there. Aguaniga and Smith to jump it up, and off we go as it's picked up by Williams, and we are underway as that one short off the glass and scooped up by Martinez.
But for Williams to be really aggressive here early, as she was leading scorer for her team last season, and looking to continue that here is no board there. That's going to be another thing to watch out for here. Is if you've noticed, Elsinore's a little bit undersized across the board. Yeah, they have a couple of really tall pieces on the interior, but I think Pacifica has a much larger size across the board from top to bottom.
And this is Diaz using the screen and driving to the baseline. Losing the handle with 7 seconds on the shot clock, driving in, and that's swatted. A nice touch by Aguaniga. Got to get something up here. And Williams, it will touch the rim, and the Tritons to contain the rebound. This is Kaylee Villagrana, who was a big piece of the team last season, is counted and one on the inside. That's her sister, Viviana Villagrana, the junior, who had a wonderful night in the season opener. She dropped 32 points, 65% of the points in that season opener scored by her. She caught heat in quarters 3 and 4 and was dangerous from downtown, and she can't convert in the three-point play. She actually almost tied a school record, 7 triples. Wow. She was 3 off of the record, which is held by Olivia Ham, who left the side, or pardon me, Lauren Ham, who left the side last season.
It's a family affair here. Obviously, Lauren Ham, the leading scorer last season. The sister now is trying to take over for the Ham family, rocking number 11 in her sophomore campaign. And obviously, the Villagrana sisters have been filled with firepower. We got a tied ball there at half court. But even on the boards, Vivian Villagrana, that is, led the team last season in rebounds per game. And then the sisters were second and third, respectively, in assists per game as well. I'll be interested to see, though, because Valencia, I'll be interested to see defensively how Pacifica looks this season, because Valencia was their leading steal getter with 3 last season. Beautiful set there, coming out of the side out with
nice
a beautiful
pass.
back door. But defensively, I'll be interested to see who takes kind of the head of the snake there. 3 steals per game is a lot for an individual. See if they can replace Valencia's output, and right on cue, they're trying to get it.
But I say it took a touch off the toe. That ball will stay with the Tigers. As the junior in Fowler asked to inbound once more. Look at the body swarming around that basketball. Triton's trying to trap here. And it stays with the Tigers, but they've been clinched here on their own respective side for a few straight possessions. And that's Diaz. Swung out to Williams. Driving on the baseline. Wild shot, but she gets fouled.
Yeah, Ham's got to do a better job not swiping down there and bailing out Williams, who's kind of coming in. I mean, you said wild shot. That might be a bit of an understatement. I don't know how that's not a shooting foul, however, but nevertheless, we've got a baseline OB here.
And it's a second straight foul in quick succession. That's going to go against Aguaniga. No, it's Martinez. Saying 2 hands on the back there, is very aggressive on the inbounds.
officials having a conversation with our scoreboard operator, Terrell Maze, another Vanguard student helping out here today. He was telling her he was used to the college rules.
Swung towards Williams, and it's another one on the inside, and that could spell trouble.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the best case scenario is, how do you kind of minimize the Tritons' offensive outpouring is put them all in foul trouble. I mean, you can't score if you have to sit on the bench with 2 fouls here in the first quarter. So a nice aggressive approach here early for Williams, who, as we mentioned, was their leading scorer. But points have been an issue for Elsinore in their first 3 games so far, Jared. A measly 28.7 points per game throughout their first 3, including a 17-point outing against Corona, who, to be fair, their defense hasn't been bad so far. I mean, that's a Corona team who has yet to give up more than 25 points in a single game so far this season. That's a defensive output. But they did get 43 against Temecula Prep. We'll have to see if Williams' downhill attack can open things up for Elsinore's offense throughout.
So Williams goes 1 for 2 and gets the Tigers on the board. A 4-1 lead for the Tritons here early.
Nice idea trying to change up the pace here with the press, but just missed their assignment there. Whoever was on that second level, it's a turnover here. But there was a 1-2-1-1 zone press there for Elsinore, but whoever was that second to last one in the layer was not over in time to kind of squeeze the sideline and force him to play catch a little bit.
Fired out to Villagrana. Sizing up Williams.
I think they're going to go back to this drop action here.
Catch and shoot. And from the left arc won't go. It's just far right. Again, the Tritons playing up high. That ball is lobbed out of the reach of Niara Smith, and now the Tritons can go the other way. It's Martinez ahead of steam. Villagrana just short, picked up her own rebound, and she wrestles in and kicks it out. Fired from the left side of the arc, won't go. Bobbled around, and Smith scrambling. It's Villagrana who gets the active hand, and now Ham can go to work.
Oh, nice drop off.
Oh, it just had to go, but she gets the foul. And smart offense. They've been getting the Tigers moving and off their feet, going left to right and side to side as Elsinore getting ready to make a switch here.
3-0 boards that possession. That cannot happen. If you're Elsinore, as you mentioned, see the substitution here. It'll be Scott checking on. But yeah, Jared, offensive rebounds cannot be a factor if Elsinore even has a sniff at victory in this one. They've got to clean that up right now.
So the 5'10 junior and Angie Martinez cashes in on 2 and extends the lead to 5. 6-1 the Tritons lead here early in the first quarter of Bring the Rain night. Driving down is Williams, but it's a foul. I think that's going to go against.
Looked like Diaz with the illegal
there,
screen, yeah.
Off ball and an illegal screen, which means a turnover for the Tigers. They've struggled to find some rhythm in their travels down the court.
See another substitution here. Looks like it's going to be Anala for the Tigers.
Kaylee Villagrana, she's got it right now. She's the lone senior on this team. As that one off the rim and scooped up. It'll be the Tigers basketball. She was an all-league honorable mention last season, was Kaylee Villagrana. And hard to get honors in a team that was really stacked in the backcourt. As spinning off is Williams, tries off the one leg, and that is easy as you like. That was Keona Scott who just kind of waltzed in there.
Yeah.
Said thank you very much, and a nice little dish off to Fowler, and she's got a chance to head to the line.
I believe that was the second foul as well that was called on Martinez. You mentioned the foul trouble issues that may be popping up early for Pacifica. But a nice little O board. That's how you can kind of balance it back out. I mean, if you're if you're not going to get defensive rebounds, there's a loose ball foul there on Scott is called. If you're not going to get any defensive rebounds, we'll make sure that Pacifica doesn't get any either. And you try to maximize as many shots as you can by getting more and more offensive rebounds.
Well, it was a huge problem for them in the season opener against Lakewood, where they did see a lot of the starters get into foul trouble, and that meant that the freshmen had to step up in a big way for the Tritons. It was something that Coach Martinez talked about, the freshmen stepping up and performing well. Is catch and shoot from the right side, and it goes. And Kaylee Villagrana.
Elsinore kind of accepting that they can't really guard Pacifica, especially the Villagranas one-on-one, so they're trying to switch up to zone. But how do you get a team out of a zone, Jared? You light them up from downtown.
Another try from the left side. No, it won't go. Picked up by Williams. And it's the Tigers for the first time in transition. Williams all alone, goes at it herself and just about loses out, but she got the better of the defense on the inside, going the other way, and that's Vivian Villagrana going hard to the cup.
Here, Coach Galbraith, a little upset with the execution there, but Williams is trying to do it all on her own right now, Jared.
And you can tell he wants them to go downhill and try to set up their offenses. That's going to spill through the palms of Shy Williams there. She says, my bad, but just maybe rushing the offense a little bit.
Yeah, well, it was a really good drive there by McCoy. I mean, Coach Galbraith really wanted his team to get downhill, did exactly that, punched the gap, drew two, and had a wide open Shy Williams on the underside, but it was just a little bit too hot. Rodana, we actually saw that a little bit last night with our own women's team in their home opener, as you see a triple go down once again for Pacifica.
And Villagrana is feeling it, and the Tigers want to talk it over. It's the largest lead of the game. It's 14-3, the Tritons lead here on TVX. Villagrana sisters got it going on here to start. It's Kaylee Villagrana, the senior, with 2 triples already to lead the way for the Tritons. Is that timeout from Coach Romeo Galbraith? You just get the feeling he wants his team to settle down a bit here and try to work their half-court sets, albeit, Pacifica have asked the questions in the full-court press. It's been hard for them to get down the floor. But if they can press past half court, they can try to orchestrate their offense. That's Williams.
Boy, Williams is impressive.
He's quick.
So far. I mean, one of a coach's biggest pet peeves is when a team tries to dribble through the press, right? But I mean, you've seen it when our men's team plays. Bryson Metz, when he does it, it works out just fine, right? Shy Williams is just like that. I mean, you just kind of trust her to make a play with the ball in her hands, and it deservedly so. I mean, leading scorer from last season, also leading assist man with 1.2. Not a lot, but I mean, this was a team that did struggle in points per game last season as well. Only 40 points per game last season. They are down by 12 points, as we mentioned earlier. They're also giving up 45 points per game. Bit of an issue, but Shy Williams is trying to just do her thing and keep her team in it.
As Williams gets another. The Tigers were a streaky team last season, and started the year on a 5-game win streak. Then they had a 5-game loss streak. Then it was a pair of wins there, a pair of losses there. They went into CIF on a loss streak. So they still won the conference, which is kind of the go-ahead, what you're looking for. But I think for this season, I'm going to try to have a more steadier ship throughout the year as Williams is picked up by Villagrana. Again, what pace, what speed, and might have gotten away with one there.
Well, to be fair, I mean, she did get slapped a couple times on the wrist, so that's good officiating right there. If you're a coach, you're complaining about the carry or the double dribble, perhaps, but what would you rather, someone picking up another foul for them?
Villagrana again, no, and rushing towards it, that was Palinka who tried to get a hand to it.
Speaking of foul trouble, that's 2 now. Just a bit of housekeeping. Angie Martinez has 2. And the other one was on Aguaniga with 2 as well.
And they triple team her and pin down. That ball will go to Pacifica.
Yeah, you heard Coach Martinez yelling double Shy Williams. She's been the only person who's been able to break the press so far. So, I mean, that's probably a smart move at this point, is to just double her and force maybe even McCoy. I think McCoy is a solid enough guard that she can take it across half court. I was probably going to be patient a little bit to start doubling now. But the fact is, Coach Martinez says, I've seen enough from Shy Williams. We're going to go ahead and double her right now.
And Villagrana on the nice feed inside and trying to find her sister, but wouldn't go off glass. Another try here for Pacifica, but no, it's stolen. And McCoy can go the other way, but it's again the active hands from the Tritons. They're all over it on both ends.
A lot of active hands. McCoy probably should have maybe did a little bounce pass there to Shy Williams through transition as they were coming down, but still smart enough to, understand where your offense is coming from to get it to Shy.
Savannah Saavedra to inbound. It's picked up on the far end by Diaz.
Good defense there by Palinka.
And Diaz still in behind the back and all waiting, and nice move. But they're going to say she walked. And both you and I, we both give each other the look there. Got her jumping, but maybe jumped the extra step.
It's funny how different a travel is between high school and college.
Look sharp, look good.
Yep.
As Pacifica make a switch here and get her gun lock. The 6'2 sophomore who's checking on. That one rattles around the rim. Donk.
That's a very secure rebound right there for Triplet.
And Williams ahead of steam, and it's flashed off the backboard. Now the Tritons in transition. That's Palinka.
We're going to go back to this dribble flip look.
And Villagrana. The screen was set by Gundalk, and now it's Palinka. 6 on the shot clock. Ham, the extra pass from the corner. Won't go, and it's picked up by Villagrana, but they're running out of time here. And it's a shot clock violation.
Yeah. Really good defensive possession there from Elsinore. I mean, Pacifica's been running that play a few times now where they've done the dribble flip and they've done a couple of things. They've either swung it onto the next side and then gotten to a side-on ball, or they have just done a reverse pivot and went to a nice little drop action, which is a play that we actually run a couple times on the men's side here at Vanguard. But I'll tell you what, Elsinore finally made the adjustment and wasn't fooled. They stayed in the gap and then just played smart, solid defense. Really good job there.
Under 30 left to go here in the opening quarter, and it's flung out to Saavedra, and the high arcing triple splashes off the wrong side of the rim.
Don't get a silly foul here in the open court.
And speaking of open court, Burris flashing down to Palinka.
That's the problem when you gamble there in the full court and 94 feet away, when you don't really have a good look at a trap, is all of a sudden you can turn it into numbers on the backside where you can be 4 on 3, you're in 5 on 3, and then you're giving up fouls more and more likely so when you gamble in the open floor.
So the freshman in Emery Palinka at the foul stripe and missing the first. And you see, well, you can't see it on your screen, but the jazz fingers from the Triton supporters as the Tigers trying to go the other way. 3 seconds left in the quarter. Williams from way downtown, but it won't go. And that is going to do it for the first quarter. One in the books. It's the Tritons who lead by 7. A hot start from them, but the Tigers slowly clawing their way back, and be very curious to see how they can come up with some more defensive possessions. But we'll have to wait and see what the second quarter looks like. We'll take a short break. You're watching Varsity Basketball on TVX. Well, we talked about it in the first quarter, a little bit about the turnover for the Pacifica side with losing their starting backcourt from last season. You had the likes of Lauren Ham and Alexia Valencia, who both went on to playing collegiately right now. Actually, I was looking at it. Valencia, she just dropped a career-high 23 points on Wednesday against Irvine Valley College. So a huge shout-out and congratulations to her. But, you know, a lot to change in the backcourt. But Pacifica certainly have the answers with the Villagrana sisters. They scored 12 of the 14 points in that first quarter, as a travel means another turnover for the Tigers.
I did like what Pacifica did there, coming out of the quarter break, changing it into a zone defense. We see a lot of coaches starting to do that more and more nowadays, where they're learning from each other. I like this beautiful set here coming out of timeout once again from Coach Martinez, but you see a lot of more times where the ATOs after timeouts where the coaches are changing up their defense, thinking that the other coach is going to draw something up to beat it because he thinks he has a beat on it as well.
Right-sided triple won't fall. That was a nice touch by Villagrana, but it stays with the Tigers. And out to Williams. And that jumper no good. It's palmed and picked up by Diaz. And lifts one up. Did she get some contact? Hard to tell. And a backcourt violation. It's
that ball was certainly touched.
It's Chase McCoy in a little bit of disbelief there.
Understandably so, because that ball was certainly touched, and because there was no firm possession by an offensive player in the front court, they are allowed to go into the backcourt and retrieve it.
And more tucking of the jersey. You're shaking your head. You guys don't know, J.J. Johnson is a player on the men's basketball team for Vanguard, and I'm sure he's well accustomed to the referees making that mark. It's another triple from the Villagrana sisters. They just cannot be stopped here in this first half.
Ham's got to do a better job not reaching, just playing with her feet.
Was lunging in. Diaz surveys her options. And they work it in the post, deep and down low, but ripped away.
I still like the aggressiveness there by Fowler. I mean, I don't know if you saw, but the tenacity in her face when she called for the ball in the post, that's something you can work with as a coach, is knowing that, hey, she thought she had a look there. Obviously, a better defensive play by Pacifica, but the fact is she was aggressive on the post, and that's always step one for any post player at any level, is letting them know that you want the ball.
That was Martinez for Pacifica, who came up with a big defensive play. She's wrestling for another rebound. JJ, she comes off a 4-point, 12 rebound game to go along with 4 blocks. She's a huge presence for them in the paint, and she shows you why.
I mean, anytime you can vacuum in 12 rebounds, that's certainly going to get any coach's attention, and understandably so. You got to put a body on her. I mean, that includes boards as well. Always got to have a presence, as Ash tries to say, but good job there.
And Diaz, and driving left, and there's the help from Vivian Villagrana, and that might have been a double dribble as Williams. Did she step off the line or is she fouled? I want to say she got fouled here. Yes, she was.
That's going to be 3 fouls there, Jared. Going against Aguaniga. Just playing with too much hands there on the baseline drive. This was an area where they struggled a little bit last year, Jared, at the free throw line. Elsinore, their best free throw shooter was Smith, 53% from the line. That's not a number you're looking for in terms of your best free throw shooter is only hitting on a 50% clip. But Shy Williams right there is Coach Martinez screaming for a timeout. Finally, he gets it granted.
A lot to figure out with a couple of players in foul trouble. We'll see what the Tritons come out with. We come back after this short break. Well, the foul game is one which is going to make this a little bit interesting down the way. Yes, the Villagrana sisters are hot, but you can cool off in an instant. And the way the Tigers have been taking trips to the foul line, if you're Coach Martinez, you just want to have a look at things and how you're defending. I think the aggression's been good, and maybe not picking the right spots for when and where to be aggressive.
Smart aggression is certainly going to be the key here as you see them continue to dice up Elsinore's zone whenever they go to it. But I'll talk a little bit about Shy Williams in just a second, but watch her go streaking down the floor, Jared.
And she's doubled, and she rips away. Hoofs one to the far end, and now Villagrana 1-on-3. She's got 2 trailers coming with her. It clashes on the other underside of the backboard, and now the Tigers have some numbers going the other way. Diaz. And for the first time, a couple of red shirts are open, but that's flushed away by Angie Martinez.
Incredible block there. Someone who, as you mentioned, led the team in blocks per game last season at 1.6. It'll be a big key for them to continue to anchor the middle of that defense.
And that's McCoy lunging in on the floater and gets the touch off the window. And it's a 7-point game with 5:07 left to go here in the first half.
Can't reach that far out if you are McCoy.
Villagrana getting some space, and from the corner, rattles around, picked up by Martinez, but she rushes into Niara Smith there. Now she's getting in on the block counter. Villagrana and Rachel Ham, they're going to come off as the other Ham sister comes on. Sorry if there's some confusion there. There's loads of siblings across these two teams. Little wrestle on the inside. And jump ball, it will stay with the Tigers.
It should be white ball. And the officials finally get sort of man on the official book, doing a good job communicating with the official right there.
And Coach Martinez didn't seem bothered. He seemed plenty confident. Just a little bit of the waiting game as Olivia Ham is ready to inbound.
Oh, beautiful set right there against the 2-3 zone. Oh.
Coach Martinez wanted the foul against Williams, but I mean,
it definitely was a swipe down, and I'll say that. And for him to call the foul there against Pacifica is interesting, but I will say this. The split action right there against the 2-3 zone, yeah, definitely a swipe down there, as you see on the replay with Shy Smith. You saw right there on the inbound right there, it was going to be Ham who actually took away Smith immediately, and travel is called, and official Teresa Dash.
She's just saying, I got it.
Coach Martinez
what do you
beginning to work.
Anyone who's ever coached knows you're passionate, you're engaged in the game, you want those calls, and the ref's getting it right that time as Diaz going to pick up Burris here. Crossing left, using the screen, drives to the lane, and gets the roll.
Elsinore switching back and forth between man and zone a lot in the first half. We'll see if they continue to do that, especially when you have Smith right there. You probably should put her in a bit more of a drop coverage on the ball screen.
Williams, she's been aggressive in the lane. She's struggled to find her shooting form from behind the arc, but maybe another try here. Nope, driving to the paint and a nice dish. Smith waiting. And a push from behind. As it's going to be.
That is now 3.
Yeah, man, they're stacking up here.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't fouled that much, I mean, in terms of a team foul perspective, but it's been in bunches on just 2 players. So I'm shocked that Coach Martinez is, I mean, he's trusting his daughter to not get another foul.
That's
certainly
corner.
Travel.
They're slowly piling up here. It'll be an interesting discussion in the second half because this game is a 9-point game.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the kind of distance that the Tigers have seen themselves down by in some of these other games. And so, tighten the thread here.
That's a much better job by Smith being in drop coverage, though. But it doesn't matter because it's another Villagrana three-pointer, Jared.
Well, she's going to be so fun to watch this season, especially with much more freedom to run around and attack on either side of the arc. That's smothered away and ripped by Palinka. Driving down, it was touched by Fowler there.
We'll see here if Elsinore goes. Looks like Elsinore will be in this 2-3 zone, so I think the Tritons are going to go back to that split action that we just saw a second ago, where they're going to send one, excuse me, that's going to be the other Villagrana, Vivian Villagrana, to the corner and have 33 seal in the center, or just simple pop.
That one's too strong. It's Kiona Scott and Marbelli Anala who come on for the Tigers. As the Tritons trying to run something here. The stack plucked away towards the right side. Kicked out to Palinka. And her triple almost as it's ushered around the iron.
More good fight on the interior. Pacifica, they're not getting many O boards, but they're getting them in bunches.
Another deep triple, why not?
It's beautiful. Beautiful basketball. Touching the paint, inside-out three-pointers are great, and O-board three-pointers are also great. As you see, they're starting to turn up the pressure on Shy Williams. It's sick of her torching their press.
A 9-point game turns into a 15-point game in a flash. This crowd getting into it. It's filling out pretty well here. Be curious to see from that opening tip for the boys game as well. Behind us, it'll be packed as well. Is looking
she
deep.
stepped over the
too
line.
Much, yep. Too much as she steps over, and that's Fowler with some words from McCoy, just trying to sort that out. Make sure she had the right option to inbound the pass in the first place.
We have a timeout taken by the Tritons.
It's going to be a 30 here.
And it's a quick 30 here for Coach Martinez with 2:36 left to go in this first half. JJ, if you're Elsinore,
Yep.
again, a good run can still keep you around the game. And, you know, you look at what Pacifica had going for them in their last game. They were down at the half 25-17, erupted in the second half. So far tonight, it's an eruption in the first. They could get cold in the second half. Of course, you don't want to bank on that and count on that, but certainly if you're Elsinore here, a couple of good runs and a couple of good stops, if they can just get the Tritons uncomfortable and out of shooting rhythm, can potentially bode well for the second half.
Well, it's going to come down to O boards and then stopping inside-out threes. And I thought that there was a good sign there from Naira Smith, who was in the drop coverage a lot better than they were earlier. Now it's going to be, the onus is going to be on Kiana Scott if they do go man. Right now they're going to actually go 1-3-1, but like you said, you cannot bank it. They're going to send the baseline runner as well, and it's going to be wide open triples again. You cannot stay in a zone, Jared. They're going to shoot them out the zone. They got to switch out of it. But also for Elsinore,
it's another Villagrana bucket in Vivian, that is. She's hit a few from the right corner. She's hit a few now from the left corner.
Yeah, small shuffle of the feet. If you notice, recently Shy Williams has been a little bit quiet, and I think she's a little bit gassed right now. I mean, one of the things that we haven't talked about is, Jared, they're playing on a full court now, a college-length court. That's an extra 10 feet that these players got to run that they're not really used to. Pacifica, I would argue, is a little bit more used to this than Elsinore. And because Ham was not tucked in, they're going to cancel her substitution. But, yeah, Shy Williams, I think she's kind of cruising a little bit. She took a couple of minutes off there trying to, as the foul is called there. Going against Palinka, too much hands. But, yeah, Shy Williams, she's got to turn it back up to end the half right here, Jared. I think to keep this close and keep it respectable and give you some hope heading into the quarter. You can take, your 15-minute halftime to kind of collect your breath, but right now she's got to turn it back up for the last 2:05.
It's kicked out to Scott, and Williams will pick it up. Waiting patiently, a Euro, and it's a foul.
Yeah, I thought Burris had her knee out. We'll see who they call the foul on. Yeah, she does. That knee was just stuck out just a tad too far. Coach Martinez not happy with it, but still the freshman Burris.
They just can't stop her from going downhill.
Well, she's very shifty, and a lot of it's not even with the dribble, Jared. A lot of it's with her shoulder and her head fakes that's really getting them. And what a lot of coaches teach a lot of on-ball defenders nowadays is instead of watching this upper body movement where a lot of players can be very shifty, is you try to watch the hips more so than the upper body as she knocks down a couple of free throws, because the hips dictate where you're going to go. The shoulders can lie all the time, but your hips are the ones that are actually dictating where your feet go. And so that's going to be something maybe Pacifica can talk about at halftime in terms of not falling for as many Shy Williams fakes.
Around the arc, and it's Kaylee Villagrana. Swung out to the corner. A triple, and it's good.
It's shooting lines at this point, Jared. Inside-out threes and offensive rebound threes is what's killing Elsinore, and it's what's blowing this game open. A little 1-2-2 zone here for Pacifica, different than the man that they showed earlier.
And Williams, and still, and floater looked good, but couldn't catch it down the hole. Burris in transition, waiting.
Good pivot.
Savita off her feet. Faking his Villagrana. She'll walk it down to the lane, and the Tigers come up with it, but no. Just wrestled. Again, that's Gunlock that time. And Olivia Ham finally does come on, as Kaylee Villagrana will step off. Down low to Scott. Trying to use some muscle against Gunlock. And first effort, second effort won't go. Now Burris. And the Tritons with an extra player, and I think that's Diaz who's gone down.
Yeah, I think she stepped on someone's foot. Might have been an ankle there.
Well, certainly the ankle. It's just a matter of how the contact came from. Might have been that left ankle. Turning a twist out the gate. That is not what you want to see for one of the seniors on your team.
Yeah.
Let's see the outs. It's off the ball. It's
the left ankle. Inadvertent, certainly. See her there, retying the shoe. Staple for every hooper. Once you get that ankle moving, you got to tie that shoe very tight.
30 seconds left to play. Another triple. And as per the name, it is raining three-pointers here at the Freed Center. The Tritons firing on all cylinders to close out the half. .9 left to play, and Scott, he's hurtled to the ground. That should go against. Gosh, I missed the number. You see who that foul was against? Was it Ham?
Yeah, that was on Ham.
Ham. A member of the starting backcourt is now the bleachers rumble. Scott silences the crowd.
This has got to be Villagrana's shot right here to end the half.
3 seconds. And Villagrana, 1 second. Got to put up a shot here. Driving and just waits to make her move a bit too long.
Yep.
But perhaps the first wrong foot forward. She's had a wonderful first half, as has her sister. The Villagrana sisters coming up big. The Tritons coming up big. They lead it big, 34-13 here at the half. JJ, closing thoughts for this half is maybe what's going to be the approach for Elsinore, as it kind of just got away from them in the second quarter.
I think they got to come out with a little bit more aggression defensively in that second half in terms of not being in a zone. I mean, I would probably match up everywhere and just play drop coverage with my five-man, because otherwise it's going to be more inside-out threes all day. But if you can have that five-man and drop coverage and plug the hole, it's going to at least deter them from driving in too deep, and that way you can recover still on the outside and force tough contested twos.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, it is second half action. You're watching girls varsity basketball on TVX Video.
What I experienced at Pacifica was a true community, where I was truly known by my teachers and my classmates. Because of this, Pacifica was a place where I could try new things and make mistakes without living in fear. When you're in a place where you're truly known and loved, the fear of failure disappears. That can be a tricky mindset to get into, especially for teenagers, but looking back now that I'm in college, the Pacifica community I experienced here set me up so well for all of my future endeavors. Because here I was known and loved, and because of that, I was free to explore who I was, knowing that I would be loved for that person. This has inspired in me a confidence and a grace for myself and others that has carried with me into college and beyond, and for that I'm truly grateful.
Welcome to the Freed Center for Leadership and Service.
Where God chooses to pour out his favor and to create a wave, our job is to ride it as far as it goes. And I believe that that's what we're doing.
It's not just about a building. It's about the students that will be educated for generations and generations in this building.
There could not be a better name to go on this building, because God commands us to love him and love others, which when we do that well, our life will be more fulfilled than anything we could possibly imagine. And so my charge to you students is to embrace that life, the Spirit-empowered life of Christ-centered leadership and service. And it's our job, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and our friends to work towards equipping you to be the best version of yourself carrying out that mission. That's why this is the Freed Center for Leadership and Service.
This building will impact the lives of students for generations to come, as transformation happens in both the mundane, everyday moments and the extraordinary.
There's a lot that's going to go on in this space, but it was already dedicated to the Lord. Because in 1920, a school was started that was based on truth, virtue, and service, and we will not waver from that call.
Six years ago, our head of school had this incredible idea to throw toilet paper. Him and our AD and myself met, and we just said, let's do it. It sounded like this great idea that we could toss toilet paper in a basketball game, and the rest is history.
This event is so endearing to know that everybody is here for the same purpose, to cheer on our basketball team.
The best thing about Bring the Rain is that it brings everybody together. When we throw that toilet paper, we are all one.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. Small school, but like on the court, it just feels huge. 5 years ago when we started this tradition, I was a junior, and just seeing how much it's grown over the years is crazy.
We're all cheering for our team, especially when that first three-pointer hits and all the toilet paper comes flying. It's just such an amazing feeling.
All right, great to have you here in Newport Beach, California for the first annual Girls Basketball Showcase presented by Marquith Insurance. Got more talent to go. And he rattles off the backboard in town. And a little bit of a block, and count the basket, and a foul. This is for the lead. Good!
Welcome back as the second half is just about ready to tip off here. It is the subsequent home side in Pacifica Christian who lead and lead it big. And the Villagrana sisters popping off here. 27 points between them. 27 of the 34. It is Vivian Villagrana who leads the way with 18 points. And Kaylee, she's got 9. They have been firing from behind the arc. They've had a few times they've driven down the lane. JJ, how can the Tigers slow them down? Is that really going to be the key, or is it's tough to figure out the chinks in the armor here because they have really just gotten going, especially in that second quarter.
I mean, 7 threes is no coincidence. I mean, because of the fact that it's the Villagrana sisters who are, obviously, there's something special about sibling dynamics. I will say that, Jared. I was fortunate enough to be able to play with my brother in high school for a couple of seasons, and just the chemistry that was there was just unspoken. And so there's obviously that factor, but the fact of the matter is they're going to reset the shot clock here. A little bit of a delay there as they finally get it set. But I will say that Elsinore has to do a much better job. They should leave that zone back over in Riverside in the Inland Empire. There's no reason to go to that zone ever again for the rest of this game. They have to just be content with that zone as that first three-pointer is up and offline. But an board will certainly help Elsinore's cause in terms of slowing them down, because if Pacifica is never on offense because you're getting all these boards, I mean, that's one way to stop them. I mean, it's similar to the football idea of, controlled time of possession. So we'll see if that helps. It's going to be difficult to slow them down now that they have such a rhythm with those 7 threes in the first half.
And Niara Smith, little one-hander there from the free throw line. I was going to say a little update. Lineups are the same as the starters, minus as she sinks the second, and that gets the big eyes from J.J. Johnson alongside me. But no Marisol Diaz, who did have that ankle scare, and we'll try to get more updates on that if they come. But it is going to be Anala who is starting here in the second half for the Tigers.
Yeah, Marbella Anala. That time Elsinore changed it up and they actually went to a 2-2-1 zone. So there goes my idea about never playing zone again for the rest of the half. But I will say that Anali was caught in a little bit of no man's land there. She probably should have sunk all the way back, as it's going to be a turnover there from McCoy. Probably should have sunk back just a little bit. If you find yourself in a zone press like that and you're guarding nobody, you have to bring the fight. Either pinch the middle or sag off deep and take away any of those up and across skips. So right there, she did a much better job of sinking down lower and slowing down the press.
From the left corner, and that's Villagrana. And finds a dish through the lane. That was Angie Martinez, a 5'10 junior. She's sitting on the 3 fouls, but cashes in on the inside. We'll see if foul trouble becomes a theme here, but right now it's the Tritons not taking their foot off the gas. That shot is offline, and a second try. McCoy from deep, off glass, and picked up by Martinez.
Pacifica Christian, they took their turn there going to a 1-3-1. Is beautiful
nice ball
tic-tac-toe.
movement. Gotta get that shot up. It was Williams who notched it down, and Villagrana misses the rim. This is picked up by Vivian all alone. One to meet her, but she'll beat her to the bucket. That was Fowler putting no man's land as Viviana Villagrana cashed in, and that is a foul. And
it's going to be 4.
Yeah. Aguaniga.
It's a tough look there.
Had the 3 points against Lakewood, and Diaz is back, so this is good news.
Yes.
And not just for this game, but just in general. I mean, you hate to see a player go down, and it's so early in the season as well. So here she is right on the ball, strutting her way through, and
look at that.
Yep, creates some instant offense, and she'll let to the line.
And that it's especially a good sign when she's able to plant like that on the foot and come to an abrupt stop and pivot off of that foot. It's a really, really impressive stuff by athletic trainers getting her back into this one. She goes to the line to shoot 2.
Diaz shot it at 44% last season. Can't hit the first. And goes 1 for 2.
It's going to be Palinka checking back on here for Pacifica. And I will say, she did a terrific job. Her and Ham combined in that, really the first 6 minutes of that second quarter to really slow down Shai Williams. And by picking her up full court, and even if it was a zone press, they were making sure to deny her first and making them go somewhere else. And if it was a man, they just straight up doubled her. And so really impressive stuff, and they really led the effort to slow down Williams.
2-on-1 if they go quick. It's a nice hezzy, but
guess it was too nice.
Too nice.
Oh.
They're going to say she walked. If she did walk, it was perhaps a short walk. Different margins and different levels.
Yep.
Spread through, and
good instincts.
This will be all the way. No, it's picked up and blocked. Thwarted away by Diaz there. And the pass, which nearly turns into a bucket, another triple. Not to be, flung out to the corner. And that's Villagrana. Just too short. Triton's trying to trap, and now they break through. It's Diaz on a 1-on-2. And she Euros left and can't catch it off the glass.
Good move nonetheless, though. I mean, great outlet as well. Come back the other way. I believe it was McCoy who threw that outlet. Good vision to see over the top and lead Diaz down the floor. And it's kind of like how a quarterback does, where you let your receiver know you're not running into harmful territory by throwing it ahead of them, saying, yeah, keep running because I see for you because your eyes are towards me. Really good job there on the outlet pass. But a timeout there for Elsinore. Draw something up at the timeout.
So the Tigers trying to cause some problems. A team who lost 7 seniors last season. Big departures. They're still a pretty old squad in terms of the experience that they still have in the ranks. But it's been a tough adjustment, a tough task, really, from that second quarter on. I think the first quarter, they kept the Tritons honest. In the second quarter, just got away from them.
And this is a Pacifica team who is in their second consecutive season at Division 2A. There's a beautiful high-low read there. Coming in from Palinka down low to Gunlock. But Pacifica Christian is, oh my goodness, shy.
Rifles a pass to the corner. And this is Diaz. This is about as fluid as they looked off 2 or 3 passes in the second half. And Diaz stopped by Palinka. Down low they work it. It was aggression by Villagrana trying to grab this steal. It's Smith.
And speaking of aggression, man.
Yeah, fighting with Gunlock there.
Love the tenacity once again. And we've seen that a couple times. I mean, earlier in the first half, it was Fowler whose post-up caught my attention in terms of aggressive. As a fellow post player, that warms my heart. But I mean, cleaning up the glass there, obviously it was just a jump ball, but still, love to see that as another turnover there. That time the sisters were not locked in with each other.
Well, you talked about division in this school, in Pacifica Christian, playing at the highest level under Coach Martinez in his 3rd season. He has helped them fight through this really tough upper echelon in Southern California. As that's a foul on the inside. Kiona Scott will head to the line. And Lucy Soliday, the 5'8" freshman, getting ready to step on here at the Freed Center. Well accustomed to this gym. Her father, the head coach for Vanguard men's basketball, who is always up and at it in this gymnasium. Villagrana will step off.
This has got to be a great moment for the Soliday family.
Scott will try to sink the second.
Knowing that Lucy essentially grew up in this gym. I mean, obviously the pit, but she grew up on this campus essentially. Now that she's getting her first action playing basketball in this gym, varsity basketball, certainly a big moment for the family, but we'll see if this 1-2-2 can slow down.
And Villagrana.
Pacifica, but no.
Off the dribble.
They're just too good. They're in rhythm now. They cannot be in this zone right now. Obviously, it's a 27-point game, so it might be a moot point anyway, but
as Tall is checked in, she pops off and hangs out on the top of the arc. Here she is now and finding Diaz, and Diaz tries, and Diaz, it won't go. It's again another battle as Gunlock, this time not the victor. Pacifica Christian with the 3 league titles to their name has 6 seconds on the shot clock for the Tigers to work with. It'll be Williams who floats one too strong off the rim, and it pops out, and it'll stay with the Tritons. They were CIF finalists in 2021, CIF champs in 2022, and last season bested in the league, a 3-team conference. There's a travel here from Palinka, but we'll try to do the job on Avalon and Fairmont Prep.
Ooh, and that's a rivalry game right there, Fairmont Prep and Pacifica.
And that's Williams. A nice move to create some space, and poked and pressed out of bounds.
See what it brings, but I mean, you're talking about Pacifica's success in recent years, especially. I mean, back-to-back seasons in Division 2A. This is their best mark in recent history, dating back to at least 2014. It's going to be a foul called here.
Well, it's a program in their 8th season. Started actually in 2017. You were very close. And they've seen some top players through the ranks. You think about the Wondercheck sisters and Valencia last season, the Ham sisters coming through the ranks. But want to improve on last year. They started strong last year. They were 9-0 to start the year.
And that stretch heading into CIF, losing 4 or 5, that was a tough look. They did still win that first round game against Rolling Hills Prep by 9, 55-46. But that second round game against Chino, that got them.
And it's very interesting, kind of the different breaks, if you will, between the high school game and the college game. I know we just went to NCAA, and there's a different kind of rule set and how we're used to playing through Thanksgiving and, you know, the holidays.
You're telling me. Jeez.
But for Pacifica, you know, they were great until the new year last year. That's when they dropped and became kind of a 500 team. I wonder how they'll adjust as the season goes on. That's another walk.
Yeah, another in that same corner for Palinka. And so check off, and it's going to be Charfaros checking on for Pacifica. And looked like Olivia Ham wasn't ready to go.
Williams ahead of steam. She looks for Scott on the inside, but poked and prodded. And she'll return to the line. And JD, you get the feeling if she can sharpen up her shooting from the foul line this season, she can go there at will. Just the sheer tenacity and aggression she has with control of the ball and power with the ball, driving down to the hole. And there's the commentator's curse I just mentioned.
Shoring up free throws, and
that one's on me, Shy. And there you go. She sinks the second.
Be another 30 here for Elsinore.
The entire coaching staff up and off their feet. Coach Martinez helped by a few, one of which his wife.
Yeah.
Coach Martinez.
Family affair. I'll say this, though, about
Jasmine, my apologies, but yeah.
The postseason for Pacifica Christian, they're going to look to continue to build off that 20-9 record last year. Obviously, finishing third in your league is not the best case scenario. You got to get at least top 2 to really have a good look, especially because you want to be able to host a playoff game. They were lucky enough to win on the road and earn their first home game of CIF last season. But I mean, Elsinore was no slouch in Division 5 AA themselves either. They were able to get all the way to the third round when they ended up losing against Savannah 41-29. So in their division, yes, they're solid, but I mean, going 3-4 divisions up all the way for Elsinore is not good. Obviously, there's the subdivisions as well within each of them, and I'm sure we'll talk about the men's side as that's sure to be a humongous clash there in about 20 minutes or so here. That'll be fun, but Elsinore, but they'll be fine, I think, this season. Obviously, they only lost the one leading scorer from last season, but Shy Williams, I expect her to continue to carry the load for Elsinore. And McCoy.
Is there a problem again with the shot clock?
No, I believe he was checking on the bonus. It looked like it was Troy Jimerson who thought it was supposed to be bonus the other way for Pacifica, but believe it or not, Jared, that's only the one team foul dating all the way back to the first quarter for Elsinore. The ball was deflected out of bounds, so it stays here, but the talent level for, I mean, California, in my opinion, obviously I'm going to probably catch some flack for this from the East Coast people watching, but California has the best hoops in terms of an entire state, top to bottom. And there's a reason why there's so many divisions, because there's that many good hoopers all the way around this state.
Well, JJ, I'm going to double down as that little miscue between the Ham sisters. I'm going to double down on that because, you know, on the soccer side of things as well, Southern California is stacked. I mean, there is so much talent in this state, and this is coming from someone who's born in New York. Okay, so I'll give a little grace to the West Side here.
You got the ethos for making a comment like that.
Nice bucket on the inside from Fowler. Coach Martinez.
It's going to be a timeout here for Pacifica.
The subs are just about getting ready to go. So the home opener in the Triton Event Center was a close game, 49-48. That was, as my notes flash away from me, that was only the 6th time a game was decided by 1 point in Pacifica Christian history. They have played some very close ones, though, especially last season, a couple down to 2, down to 3. But the point being, that has not been the conversation here tonight. The Lagrana sisters have come alive as they did in the first game, and they've just looked steady and consistent. I think aggression, over-aggression, if you will, perhaps is on pace with the venue, a big night and Bring the Rain night, and that excitement and the adrenaline. But they've really maintained themselves and handled the game well as a corner triple won't fall. It's rebounded by Martinez, who battles for position on the block and fouled on the inside.
Yeah, that foul's going to go against Fowler. But I tell you what, another great set coming out of a timeout from Coach Martinez. He's really been in his bag to start this season, especially here tonight in the first 24 minutes almost. Coming to the timeout, understanding that Elsinore is going to probably sit in that zone, and you just screen the bottom side, outer part of that zone, and get a baseline runner into that corner, especially understanding that your shooters haven't really been on fire this quarter. Yeah, they had the one off the dribble three-pointer against the 1-2-2 zone, but against something that looks more like a 2-3 traditional zone, yeah, you just screen in the bottom part of that zone. If they jump out, you just throw a nice little pocket pass to the inside. But if they don't, you got a butt-naked three-pointer on the outside.
44-20 with 1:40 left to play. The Tritons lead. They will return to action very soon. It's the BSN Showcase, which tips off this Tuesday. As going to be great talent in attendance. Of course, Pacifica Christian, one of the teams, and one of the great talents. JJ, 7 of the 8 teams featured in that showcase won at least 20 games last season.
Yeah, that's certainly going to be one to watch, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be on top. I might be late to that one in terms of working it because I still got to be a college athlete in practice, but it's certainly going to be a fun one to cover for us as that triples offline, and I'm looking forward to it. A lot of talent across the board in that one, and again, we get to see more of the talented female hoopers that are really, make up the heart and soul, I believe, of Southern California, is what is done on the women's side of basketball.
The Tritons will be the second game of the day. They'll play at 4 p.m. against Santa Margarita, as that shot won't count. It was a walk against the Tigers.
Coach Galbraith could do nothing but smile after that one. He thought there should have been a foul first, but you see on the replay there, got pretty good part of the ball primarily. Another runner.
Elsinore will return to action on Tuesday as well. They'll play against Heritage at 2:30 p.m. as 8 seconds on the shot clock, an open lane, but won't fall, and rebounded and ripped away by Williams. Is there a final bucket to close affairs? Williams from downtown, and she hits it.
Didn't have her shot rolling early for her, but a nice sign for her heading into the future games as she knocks down that triple.
So that is going to do it for this first portion of Bring the Rain night. It was cagey in that maybe first quarter at moments, at times, in foul trouble, some questions asked, but the Tritons really leading across the way. And taking care of business, as they still got a lot they can pour into this one. And, it's kind of a curious thing because we talked about it last night when we covered the Westcliff game.
Yep.
You get games like this where you're in rhythm and it's maybe an opponent you're expected to beat.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a setup game for what's going to be a huge class on Tuesday, where they're going to have teams that are definitely going to offset what they want to do. So tonight it's about connecting the pieces, knowing what you want to do, because certainly for Coach Martinez, those are going to be questions and things that are going to be attacked at
You know what I liken it to is trying to put a puzzle together while skydiving. If you jump out of the plane and most of the puzzle isn't put together, Jared, it's going to be hard to put the whole thing together. So I think tonight is a night where, you're putting the puzzle together while you're still on the plane. I mean, it's somewhere where it's safe, like an opponent like Elsinore, where now once you actually get to, some of your heftier opponents like a Fairmont Prep, as we're going to see down the stretch here as the season rolls on, now you can start thinking about, okay, now what are we going to have to do, and start playing that chess match where you actually put the finer pieces and really focus in on the details of your season.
And another in the chamber. We're going to have to take a look to our left and figure out how many triples she's got. It just feels like everything she's touches has turned to gold. That's Williams dissuaded on the interior. Not in the right kind of pocket for Villagrana. She drives into the lane and into the paint and wrestles. A foul going against perhaps McCoy. Might have been Diaz. And Villagrana at the line shooting 2. And hits another. As Triton's about a brush past to season high. They put up 49 against Lakewood. They're going to surely eclipse that here in this final quarter.
And it surpasses what their points per game total was last year, averaging about 48 points per game last season. And you saw them run into that problem a little bit in the postseason, only 52 points against Chino. But if the Villagrana sisters, if they can bury triples at the rate that they have tonight, I mean, they've combined for 9 triples so far, 15 points for Kaylee, and then 21 points for Vivian. It's been incredible to watch. So if that triple can keep falling for them throughout the season, I expect that points per game total to continue to just edge up all the way to, I would say, about 55 is a nice sweet spot for them. And if you can get third parties involved, that's going to be even sweeter.
Shifty from Burris to create the space, and knocked down from the right side. Aguaniga. Williams driving right. And again, she draws contact.
I think that'll be 4 now. No, that's her 5th.
And a cheeky grin.
And it'll be Olivia Ham coming on, but certainly a good job there from Angie Martinez this game.
Had some big blocks in the first half. We'll not see the rest of the action. Williams won't hit the first. Savannah Saavedra back on. And the Freed is now filled. I was talking about in the first half, behind us was really where the emptiness was, and now
we're almost there. Yeah. We're almost at capacity. But this is the hottest ticket in the OC tonight. I don't care about any CIF football game that might be going on tonight. They're going to run that baseline runner once more. But, I mean, this is more than the event surpasses just the schools that are involved. This event is one that transcends the Orange County as a whole. This is a very, very hot ticket.
Williams has to pick up her dribble. It's out to Diaz. Waiting in the pass into Saavedra. And Coach Galbraith wants to have a chat. It's a full timeout. We'll take a break here at the table. 52-24 Pacifica Christian lead. So Pacifica Christian lead it big, 52-24, with 6:03 left to play. The Freed Center is packed out in full force as the Tigers, this is still an important game for them in terms of not only working out the kinks, but likewise what you do against teams that are on paper maybe a bit better shows a lot about you and shows a lot about what you can do late in the stretch, because you're not always going to play your best basketball.
I would argue that Pacifica Christian is a better team than Corona, and the fact is that this is the Elsinore side that only put up 17 in the opener against Corona, but they've got 24 tonight and trying to add some more here with Shai Williams, but unable to do so there. But Elsinore has struggled with scoring, and they only had 26 against Arcadia as well, and that's probably going to be par for the course here. But like you said, a quality opponent, as Scott somehow wrangles that one down. Quality opponent, and then you're just trying to get some good run. It's similar to, how we play against, the likes of, Boise State or UCI, get your butt whooped a little bit, but you still got to be content with the fact that, you're getting better.
Well, they left Burris plenty open, and she couldn't punish him there. And it's going to ground. That was Palinka, and looked good out of the hands, but couldn't cash in for Williams. Down the lane, Aguiniga, and she'll get it off the glass. And finally getting some rhythm in this second half after sitting for much of that first half. Fired in the corner. Just short by Saavedra. Body's on the ground. This is Villagrana for Ham. And falls into the lap of Palinka. Don't think she expected that one to drop just down. That's Aguiniga who keeps the Tigers pinned in. Scott and McCoy are going to come off as Anala and Triplett return for the Tigers. It's a good screen by Aguiniga, flung out by Burris. Now the top of the arc and Ham, and she tries to loft one in down to Burris. She's trapped and smothered as that ball poked by Diaz.
Really good defense there from Elsinore. Shrinking the floor on the one side for Pacifica, and Pacifica got caught just a little bit too much, trying to overdo it on that one side.
And Ham hits from the right side as Alexa Charfuris has checked on as well for the Tritons. She's guarding Diaz now.
Yeah, too much hands there. Coming in from Charfuris.
Lucy Soliday makes her return. Ham guards Williams. Her sister, as we talked about, Lauren Ham, was a all-conference, all-league kind of player last season, was top 3 in the state in three-pointers made, and the only player in Pacifica Christian high school history to break past the 1,000 career point mark.
Impressive stuff from Ham. I mean, 14.4 points per 32 minutes played last year. Was good enough for 11th in CIF Southern Section. Also was 10th in California Division II with 72 three-pointers made. And then also in Division II, her mark at points per 32 was good enough for 4th. But they were actually really balanced scoring. I mean, they were 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th in points per 32 last season. That was Ham, Valencia, and both Villagrana sisters.
And that is a turnover from the Tigers. Saavedra And the inbound pass, popping to Soliday, who saw some space at the free throw line, and that's Charfuris Farrell on the offensive board trying to rip that out of the hands.
The ball deflected out of bounds there.
Pelinka to inbound. They dish it down to Burris. Waiting, thinks about the reverse. It's lost by Ham and picked up by Anala.
Got to get it across. Got to get it across.
He's watching the clock here.
My apologies. I forgot about the high school rule. That is on me. It's been a minute since we were in high school, Jared.
Feels like an eternity.
You know what's
going to bring me back is the fact that Edison is playing the next game, and that's the school that I would play against when I was in high school.
That's amazing. You do enough, I mean, we just had our game last night, Vanguard versus Westcliff. And, you forget it. You forget what it was like, I don't know how long it was. Everyone calls me old on my team. So you forget how long it's been at times. But a substitution here, getting the freshman in Noria.
No, I'm ancient, JJ. I'm seeing all these toilet rolls, and I'm thinking of COVID in 2020 in my senior year of high school, and working in a grocery store and seeing people fighting over toilet paper rolls when I would work the graveyard shift, stocking shelves.
Oh, you were the one stocking shelves?
Oh, yeah.
So you were the one who caused the problem, because basic supply and demand rule will tell you that you should have put more out.
Well, I remember I was working for a merchandising company. As it is going to be Fowler to take a couple of free throws here. I was working for a merchandising company, and I would get there at 3 a.m. and I would start stocking the shelves. And by 9 a.m., when the Stater Brothers would open, the amount of people that immediately went to the aisle and were just, where is it? What? And we had to start hiding it. It was insanity.
It might have been the weirdest, this is not food, not water, but just
toilet paper.
Weird. And now we're just throwing it on the court and wasting it.
Yep. It's not scarcity anymore.
As long as it looks cool. See another turnover there. But the 25-point mark here for Elsinore. So you see the substitution. It'll be McCoy coming back. Be interested to see how Elsinore fares the rest of the way on their schedule. You mentioned they got Heritage, but it's going to be a tough road against Centennial, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
In that tournament. And then they got El Segundo, and then they're going to play my old stomping ground, Chaparral High School, out there in Temecula. That'll certainly be a fun one. And too much hands once again. Pacifica, I will say this. When they go back to practice this coming week, that's going to be something they're going to have to work on, is playing with a smarter gap, not using your hands, because when this is a team with CIF aspirations, certainly, and when you get to CIF, you're going to play a lot more shifty guards. I mean, players like Shy are going to be at least 3 of the players of the opposing team that you're going to have to contend with maybe some more size on them as well. And so now you're going to have to start playing less with your hands and more with your feet. So I expect Coach Martinez to shore that up as the season wears along.
Alexa Charfuris checks off. Taylor Gundalk comes back on for Pacifica as 2 made free throws from Chase McCoy. 5'2" shooting guard who's picked up Ham there. Now it's Soliday. Stopped and poked out of play.
Too much hands again. This game has really slowed to a crawl, hasn't it, Jared, with all the fouls and death ball situations.
Third quarter was fluid in rhythm, similar with the second quarter as well.
The first and the fourth has been...
Pacing is slowed. 2:19 left to play, 56-29. The Tritons in charge. Stick around, of course, because it's scheduled for 7 p.m., but anyone who's a basketball fan knows when there's doubleheaders, games just run late.
Yep.
As running to the lane and rack and baseline was Palinka, and she's going to get fouled here. The chance to snag what I think was going to be her first points here. Rob Palinka's got the phone out, ready to record, and Palinka will miss on the first attempt.
How good has Emery been tonight? I mean, defensively especially. Yeah, she's had a couple of fouls that, you know, are going to come with the territory because it's been coming across for every Pacifica Triton. But, I mean, she's been absolutely magnificent, and I think she was the catalyst for them in terms of slowing down Shy Williams. And so hats off to her for this one. It might have been a travel.
That leg. But to your point, you know, on a team with so much to offer, scoring in the backcourt, it leaves a gap in who's going to do the dirty work, who's going to be scrappy. And that's what Palinka's done well to show here. So here she is on the ball now. And Brush, that was a little tip from Diaz, still trying to put on the clamp sets.
Yeah. How about Diaz, though, as well? I mean, we just talked about Emery Palinka, but Diaz, I mean, having that sprained ankle, and then, or excuse me, I don't want to diagnose, but having the ankle that turned in a peculiar way there, and then to return to the contest in what has been a blow and still put on this type of effort defensively has been something that her teammates can really rally behind her on in terms of her being a leader with such an effort.
Won't go, and Ina Noria has come on for the Tritons as well. The number 34, who you see close to you on your screen. And Palinka's going to step off here.
Yeah, Charfaros stepping on to finish this one out.
But what I was going to say is just, you know, stick around. Edison and Pacifica Christian get a play. Don't know how soon the turnaround will be. Might be 20 minutes-ish. But they're the next portion of this doubleheader for Bring the Rain night. That'll be a lot of fun as well. Go all the way down to the other baseline and set things up for some free throws here. The bonus approach. We're in that free throw promised land, if you will. And Pacifica will be very important. The recovery from this game and the response they have in the showcase on Tuesday. A tough jumper from Diaz won't fall, and it's just muddled around a couple of white jerseys and out against the Tritons here. But it's a kind of season, you know, this is a lot with high school sports. They're not going to play their conference games until January. You know, 4 of the last 5 games will be in the conference. For the time leading up to that, you want to have everything sorted. You want to step into the conference with some confidence, knowing what you want to do, and they'll be hoping to claim their 4th ever league title. They've been kept out of it for a season or so as that baseline jumper is too strong. Diaz over the back and picked up by Burris. Down in transition and ripped away by Williams. And a nice feed, and brings out your do-it-yourself kit end to end, and she finds Smith on the easy deuce.
Look at this again by Diaz.
Diaz dispossesses one, dispossesses a second. Finding Fowler and won't fall. And 18 seconds left to play.
Oh, wow.
As Diaz still going after. She's got the trailing runner, and Williams will get the rebound, and we'll put it up, and we'll put it in. And that duo will be fun to watch this season, but that is going to do it. 4 quarters played, 4 quarters complete. The Tritons improved to 2-0. They went out against the Tigers in their first ever meeting, 57-31. It was on the score sheet all about the Villagrana sisters, but so many contributors from top to bottom here tonight got the job done, made it happen, and now got to turn things around. Santa Margarita, no slouch. Going to be a tough matchup on Tuesday. And meanwhile, for the Tigers, they're going to take what they learned here and adjust it to Heritage. You mentioned the Centennial game would be very tough, but personally, in my experience, I think getting those games out of the way and really test what your team's got early on in the season can be really helpful. J.J. Johnson, closing thoughts.
Nah, I just thought that this was Pacifica doing what they were supposed to do against Elsinore, a team that's not necessarily in a tough division, but as a Division 2A team, you cannot have close games against a Division 5A team, and they certainly did that. They did the job, winning by a comfortable margin at that. Elsinore, like you said, getting their tough games out of the way early as possible, very important. And I think that coming this season, Pacifica is going to have a really good season. Elsinore, though, they're gonna be all right. 16-14 last season, first in their conference. Shy Williams will carry them through to victory.
Well, stick around on the TVX. We will take a short break, but just seems like under 15 or so. The second portion will get underway. Edison and Pacifica Christian getting ready to warm up, getting ready to go. We'll step aside and take a break. And when we come back, it is opening tip, it is anthems, it's all the good stuff after this break. From Vangaurd University in Costa Mesa, California, you're watching Bring the Rain on TVX Sports Video. TVX, one of the leaders in sports coverage in Southern California and around the Southwest for nearly 20 years, and they are committed to bringing you the best in live, local, and emerging sports. Visit tvxvideo.com or check them out on YouTube and Instagram at TVX Sports Video. Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to the Freed Center. Welcome to Bring the Rain, the second fixture, the second portion, as the women's game ending a little bit earlier. Pacifica Christian victors over Elsinore, and now the men's varsity teams getting ready to go. We got Edison, we got Pacifica. We got a lot to talk about. Jared Ronan, JJ Johnson, two teams who tango in some of the best divisions in SoCal. This will be a fun one.
Absolutely, Jared. This is certainly going to be a fun one. I'm excited for it. We got two of the top teams you mentioned. I mean, they're Division I for a reason. This is Pacifica's third time in 5 seasons being in Division I. Last year was one of them, and then the COVID-shortened 2020-2021 season was another. And meanwhile, this is the first time since the 17-18, 18-19 season that Edison is in Division I in back-to-back seasons, and it's the fourth time overall. I'm excited for this one. We got tons of talent on the court, and the headliner, E.J. Spillman. Jared, I cannot wait to see this guy who Vanguard took a look at him for a second, but obviously he's looking at going Division I, and so kudos to him, and this is going to be a fun one, Jared. I cannot wait to see how these two teams fare.
Well, looks like we might have anthems, but we'll still take a break. We'll get you lineups, we'll get you anthems, we'll get you all the good stuff. A short break, and we'll come back in quick succession. So it's time to go as both teams suited and booted. Let's have a quick look to the starting lineups. Why don't we start with Edison? It'll be Derek Johnson, the 6'3 junior, to start at guard. Jack Fram, Jaden Oy, Luke Jenner, and Connor McNally. They're the starting five for the Chargers. Wearing the greens with the yellow trim. As there is Johnson. New look Edison. A new look in this lineup. They lost a lot last season. From last season, I should say. Yep. We think about the Hampton brothers and Kaz and Garrity and a couple of others. Big bucket getters in the backcourt. Those familiar faces are gone, but re-inspired, reinvigorated with fresh blood. New players rising in the ranks. And now for the Triton starters as the fans are up on their feet.
Wearing number 12, 6'4" senior guard, E.J.
It's E.J. Spillman. He might just be one of the flashiest guards in Southern California. And you mentioned it before we started, just how fun it's going to be to see him in person, taking off.
I can't wait to watch this guy play, Jared. I mean, this dude's a tank downhill with speed. It's a rare combination. It kind of reminds you a little bit of a guy like Anthony Edwards in the league, where a guy has that shoulder to him. I think that's an underrated part of all guards, is do they have that shoulder that they can really just put into someone's chest and knock them off balance while still maintaining theirs. It's really impressive stuff, and I can't wait to see this guy play alongside Mr. Stewart, who you're seeing here get announced.
6'6" Logan Stewart, his older brother Alex, playing his trade now with Vangaurd, so
yes,
familiar
sir.
gym for him.
Yes, sir.
And last but certainly not least, 6'1" guard in Michael Noel, filling out this starting five. And so if you're a first-timer here, let's bring you up to speed. Bring the Rain, founded at John Brown University, brought to Pacifica in 2018. A tradition in its 6th episode. And folks, when that first three-pointer goes down, it's going to be pouring.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a bit of a delay here. And I tell you what, Jared, if I'm Edison, I'm expecting the first play to be drawn up by Coach Barakoff to be something for a three-pointer. I'm feeling it from Coach Barakoff, but if you're Coach Barakoff, guess what? You use that to your advantage and maybe drop a nice easy deuce and then have your second play be for the three ball. We'll see what happens, though, Jared. I cannot wait for this. This is the hottest ticket in town. And it's Pacifica and Edison.
So Jenner and Stewart jump it up, and Johnson running in, and he's got the first point of the night. Catches it off glass. Last year, it was Alex Stewart who brought the Rain from the corner. Will be the first. Logan thinking about it.
Nice shuffle set here to start the contest, trying to get Spillman on the cleanup.
And Spillman sizes up, offline, rattling around and running to it is Hudson Reynolds. Spillman working, Spillman got it! A frenzy in the Freed. And like powdered snow, showered across the hardwood, and we are drenched in toilet paper.
What do you mean we're drenched? I think I'm really alone in this one.
I don't want to have the camera on it, but I'm perfectly just unfazed.
I know you're unfazed, but I mean, this is not a good look for me.
I'm wearing white, so I'm blending in. It's they must have missed me.
It's all good. I love the effort though here by the ASB, but sure enough, first possession of the game, go for the three, and why not have your best player in Spillman go for it. 14.1 points per game last season, Jared, and looking to compound on that as well. I mean, they're coming into this contest. This is their home opener. Edison did get to have a tune-up, though, coming in at 1-0, though. We'll get to that in a little bit, and this is a massive cleanup effort, and as you see, some of the kids are having some fun still as well.
Well, we'll take a break on the cleanup and let you watch the mayhem and come back with first quarter action after this short break. Well, how fitting is it that E.J. Spillman is the one to drain the triple. He's been a varsity player all 4 years with Pacifica Christian and just seems to get better each year, adding a little bit something to his game. He's a 3-level kind of scorer.
Yep.
And sinks the first triple as the Tritons with a lead, albeit a narrow lead at 3-2 with 7:23 left to go here into this first quarter, as finally the toilet paper is taken off of JJ's head. He was trying to keep it there the entirety of the game, but
he didn't get the memo. It's okay. He was just doing his job.
And it's wonderful work by the Tritons to clean that up in what seemed like no time. As prior to the game with the anthem, Chara Wondercheck, who we talked about in the women's side of things, was a player, and her and her sister each go in different routes. One running track and now collegiately, and the other committing herself fully to the game of volleyball. But she had the pipes for the national anthem, and
oh yeah,
the stadium had the roar when that triple went down. So we just get situated here for the restart. Our officiating crew with 40 years combined experience between them, Ruben Gonzalez and Gary Robinson, just making sure everything's up to snuff. That ball's coming down to the, it's coming down here. I mean, it's
Obviously, the technical free throw. Which is, for me, you know, as someone who coaches as well, as you see the first one go down, giving up 2 points is a bold strategy, Cotton. But it's still all in good fun. That's what makes youth sports, I mean, even at the college level, you have great traditions. But, I mean, for this to be at the high school level is an amazing tradition. But back to the game at hand, Edison. Boy, these guys are tough.
And the ball's in Johnson's hands. He's got all buckets for Edison so far. Flipped out to Oy. And waiting and looking. And they find Jenner. Oy is trapped. Cutting right, leaning in, and the southpaw scores. And Jaden Oy, remember the name, an unranked guard with something to prove this season. He went off in the summer league, averaged 42 points per game over the 7 games in the summer league, and a little chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, also, I mean, getting that many points in summer league certainly stands out, but I like the fight that Edison is bringing so far. I mean, they just have a look in their eyes saying, not on us tonight. Yeah, you guys had your fun and your celebration with the toilet paper. That's cute and all, but we're here to hoop, and we got 32 on the clock just like you.
9 on the shot clock, down to 8. Spillman spinning left, tries with the right hand, and short off glass.
Yeah, try to go with the little hang cross, back to the spin move. I thought he should have just forgot the spin move and just went straight hang cross, get to your left.
And Johnson, flings it inside. That's Oy. Big step and can't finish with the left hand. Picked up by Stewart.
Beautiful screen there by McNally to free Oy, but it wasn't good enough.
Corner, faking, driving, lofts it up and can't get the floater. That was Owen Connell, the third-year varsity player, the 6'4" guard who rushed in from the left corner. And Johnson, just seeing it now, he looks so comfortable in that basketball as he hits from deep. And that composure on the ball, it doesn't let you know when he's going to launch one.
Yeah.
And catch you slipping. Johnson out to a hot start. He has scored, 7 of the 9 Charger points so far. Driving down and dropped but fouled.
Looked like that was
Hudson Reynolds who was driving in.
It'll be Jenner picking up the foul. Tell you what, it's a good sign when you're a high school team and you have a guy who can take literally all the dribbles in a single possession for your team, and you still come away with a 3-point basket. It's another steal there, that time courtesy of Johnson.
And Oy waits, launching himself to the left, spinning off, and he's tangled up.
Looks like that was Hudson Reynolds, and we saw a similar theme in the last game on the women's side of things, where it was Pacifica Christian ladies playing with too much hands. This time it was Reynolds, who, yeah, he probably got all ball with that right hand, but that inside deckhand was pinned on the hip, and as soon as the referee sees that, it's going to be an easy foul call all day.
And Jaden Oy misses the first. And Amari Leslie will come on for the Chargers. The big man on the inside. He's been a big piece for what they're trying to do this year, as that's flung off the backboard and swatted, punched away by Hudson Reynolds.
Not mad at that at all, though, because you get a chance to set your defenses. Pacifica Christian kind of borrows from Vangaurd men's basketball. We talked about the ties between Pacifica Christian and Vangaurd in the first game of our doubleheader tonight, but defensively they have a very similar philosophy. Get up in you and play the full court defense for the full 94.
And Johnson, and deep triple, just short, and picked up the rebound. That was McNally in the inside. Another look. Oy waiting, sidestep triple, just offline. And that time going right. Catch and shoot, and fired and sunk. And Owen Connell's on the board.
35% from deep last season, Jared. This guy's got a burner, and he can light it up in a hurry. It ends the 8-0 run there for Edison that they had coming out of the toilet paper toss.
Johnson in his jumper short. And Spillman 3-on-2 if they go quick. A nice pass and feed and high off the glass. Oh, the holy hand from Michael Noel.
Spillman with a nice no-look dime there, but it was really the tough finish that really makes the highlight of that play.
Johnson, the kick out to Fram.
Notice
now the big man.
Notice Pacifica Christian, when they're guarding off ball right now, none of them are looking at the ball, and that can create easy driving lanes for others.
Another catch and shoot, another fired and sunk. And the 6'2 senior McNally cashes in a 5-point advantage for the Chargers.
A tight squeeze on that horn. There's that spin that Spillman wanted earlier, Jared. A very tight horn set. You know, usually you have them on the elbows, but this time it's just squeeze and let Spillman choose. Really a bit of a variation of an ISO set for Spillman.
He's quick and he's strong, and he finishes through contact on the inside. Oy, another no. Picking up the rebound, that's Connell.
I don't know if you caught that, Jared, but Oy actually was inside the three-point line, had his feet on, and actually pivoted both feet behind the three-point line. Very savvy move right there.
Spillman on the size up, gets the switch on Oy. Flung out to the corner, Connell. Pump fake drives, and the baseline jumper is too strong. And DJ's got it. He drives to the baseline, a nice kick to the corner, and won't go. Spilled out and touched out.
Great box out there. I can't catch the number. I believe that was Reynolds there. As soon as he let the shooter land, that's the key. Letting Fram land on a three-point attempt and then sealing him off, because of what officials love to call nowadays is on a three-point shooter. Now they don't want to let him land. You want to protect the shooter, all in good spirit, but officials are, I feel like, are a little bit too quick on the trigger there. But that time, the Reynolds let him land and immediately went to sit and seal.
Johnson and McNally step off. Jackie Oy.
Oh, that was a dangerous play there down low. Leslie kind of sending a message there to Spillman with he checked the screen and caught him up in the face area.
Off the ball, that's Donovan Hogan who's going to check on. Owen Connell will come off. Maybe nothing too menacing in that. Let us clear brush off as Stewart's got it. The top of the key, a shake and bake drive from Noel. Coming right towards Stewart, and that's his range.
And you know why that happened, Jared, is because off of the baseline OB, Edison elects to go to a 2-3. We'll see if that's a theme in terms of that's their philosophy for an entire game. But anytime you go zone, what ends up happening later on is you end up giving up more and more offensive rebounds. So on a baseline OB, Pacifica Christian might be worthwhile crashing more and more. As you see, Johnson, after that quick breather, checks back on.
And alongside of McNally, Johnson, one of the players to watch in the Scholastic Series list, which came out in early November. As now he works on Noel. Another triple. Won't go, picked up by Stewart, and he was a rebounding machine last year, and he comes up with another board.
Yeah, him and his brother, two leading rebounders on the team as they go back to this horns look. This time they're going to stack it. Another variation of an ISO for Spillman.
Spillman the cross, and carves his way to the cup, but he's fouled.
Spillman was no slouch on the glass himself last season, actually coming in third behind the Stewart brothers. EJ Spillman, 4.9 boards per game last season to go along his 5 assists, and it's going to be a timeout here for Pacifica.
Well, it's been a different kind of game since that first three-pointer went down. The Chargers lead, but they lead by 1 here on TVX.
All right, 1 minute, 30 seconds. 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 1 minute, 30 se
big shout out we want to give to Coach Barakoff's older brother, Mark, who is watching live from Oklahoma. He's the head coach at Oklahoma City University, and last night they upset the #1 team in the NAIA. They took down Langston, and so a huge congratulations to him. The Barakoff family showing big on all levels of basketball.
Yeah, I love that. You know, Coach Barakoff wanted to make sure that we got that into this game, and that's more and more of what we're seeing. I mean, at Pacifica, it's a family affair with them. I mean, obviously we talked about the Palinkas, the Solidays. I mean, the Stewart brothers are on the same team. The Ham sisters, or I mean, the Villagrana sisters. I mean, and then now Barakoff giving a shout out to his brother. So we'll love to see that here for Pacifica, taking care of our family. Spillman misses both.
Icing the shooter perhaps is 0 for 2 for the star guard. This is McNally. Echo high, they come to Preston. Trap Johnson. Oh, nearly backcourt. Yes, it is backcourt.
Very impressive stuff there for Pacifica. That's how you know you have a well-coached team. Anytime you can go to a zone press and seamlessly move back into a man defense in the half court is very, very telling. As you saw Stewart, he was kind of the centerpiece of that 2-1-2 look in the zone press, and then ended up being the trap guy.
Spillman getting the handoff back from Reynolds and tries the dime. Drilled off the hardwood, but it's just too strong.
See Brinker check on for Stewart. That pass was a little hot, but certainly one that has to be caught for Stewart on the roll.
And Johnson, they finally get it out of his hands and force him to fling it down the court, which might be the look here to get that ball out of his hands.
As you continue to see, now Leslie's getting into it with the big fella for Pacifica, Hogan. It'll be something to watch as we saw that chuck that he had on Spillman earlier.
In the corner by Oy. Had the arm extended. And
yeah, no call.
Yeah, so more surprising, I didn't really hear any roar from the Pacifica bench.
No.
So maybe they didn't feel like there was anything in it either. That kicked out by Spillman. Top of the arc. No. The triple from the junior and Hogan won't fall.
We'll see Coach B to see if he tries to hold here.
Kicked out to Oy.
Really
20 seconds left to play in quarter number 1. A 3-point lead for the Chargers. Johnson thinks about the triple, finds McNally.
They got lucky there. Reynolds tried to gamble and get. He liked the trap, but you do not want to trap off of Johnson.
7 seconds. Oy, a sidestep triple, rattles around the rim, picked up, and the putback is in. And at the buzzer, the Chargers charge their way through to a 5-point lead. It was the Tritons out the gates with the triple, but a barrage from the Chargers. They've looked confident and composed here in this first quarter. Let's look at that. Step back, southpaw.
And the second offensive rebound of the quarter for Edison. Couldn't have come at a better time. Momentum plays certainly loom large. Aren't going to look at the box score at the end, but stuff you got to pay attention to down the stretch.
We'll take a short break. It's the Chargers who lead by 5 after 1 quarter played. The putback from McNally makes it a 5-point game, and the Chargers looking strong. As you mentioned, they have not been rattled by the big crowd, as this Bring the Rain night, JJ, certainly the highest in attendance in the event's history. They had 1,200 last year in attendance. That was the highest at the moment, but this a 2,000-seater. As Spillman strikes from the corner.
Can't lose sight of him. A quiet first quarter by his standards, but now he's up to 8 just like that with his second triple.
Always seen a lot of the ball here, and always got Hogan on skates. A nice jumper, and he wants contact, won't get it. And how about that from the big man?
Oh, good hustle play there by Leslie, as you're going to see Jack Fram return, another senior replacing Leslie. Just got the feeling that Leslie's, kind of that glue guy, the tough guy who does all the unsung stuff. I mean, you saw him check a screen by Spillman. I mean, it's that type of stuff that you really look for in a coach. They kind of set the standard for what your team is looking for.
Oy finding Fram. And Oy still, we've seen a lot of that basketball, and he is aggressive out the gates. That entirety, the backcourt duo, they know their spots, they know their strengths. Reynolds on a rifle pass. They swing it around the arc, catch and shoot. And golden from Noel.
Yeah, it's about time Noel just missed one earlier. And that rigid jump stop, as you see Johnson with the fluid left wing. I mean, he really loves that left wing, Jared. And all of his three-point attempts have come from over on that side. I mean, Pacifica's got to do a job in trying to move him off that spot, as McNally continues to be a beast on the boards.
That was Brinkman rising and trying to get a hand to it. Oy brings it down for the Chargers. Johnson in acres of space, but Oy takes it to the rack. And a rack attack means free throws here for Edison.
Good take there by Oy, but I would have liked to see Johnson have at least a touch on that possession. I understand that, Oy, he's capable of getting downhill, but what did Johnson just do? He's certainly a streaky shooter, so if he just hit one, we got to go right back to him. He can catch fire just like that. You got to at least get him a touch on a possession like that, especially when you can start blowing the game open. I mean, we're still early in the second quarter, back and forth opportunities, but let's see if Johnson can maybe blow this thing open early and put the onus back on Pacifica to maybe burn another timeout.
So a couple of switches here for Pacifica as Solomon Huang comes on for the Tritons. And Huang, a player in his junior season. He actually played 2 years at Providence High School and then made the late switch. This year averaged 10 points per game with Providence. He's hanging out in the corner now. And Stewart forced to pick up his dribble. This is Huang.
They got to get someone in that high post to get them out of this zone. There goes Stewart. There it is. That's how you collapse a D, Jared.
Oh, and Coach Barakoff seeing boom. He had that one penciled in, but a big old board. Another look at it for the Tritons. Connell swung out to Spillman. That's been his hot spot, but finally cooling off. Picked up by Connell. Rattles around the rim and crashing to the ground. A foul on the loose ball.
What did I just say about the baseline OBs, Jared? When you go zone against a defense, what are you more likely to give up? Or when you go zone against an opponent, what are you more likely to give up? Oh, boards, right? And so it's no different in live ball situations. Edison goes zone, and sure enough, they give up 3 boards on just that possession and commit a shooting foul.
So Owen Connell at the free throw line. Was a starter last season. And playing today in his 32nd career game for the Tritons. An 86 foul percent shooter last season. And trying to cash in and cut down this lead. It's been a slowly deceptive lead. It's been end to end, but the Chargers with a still sturdy 6-point lead.
Bit of a struggle from line. Don't reach, but don't play with your hands.
And they force it out of Johnson's hands and couldn't take advantage of the double team. That's Fram driving at Spillman. Too high of a dribble, and Johnson crashes in and takes Stewart to ground. And a little bit of perspiration on the hardwood. This ball is going to stay with Edison. And Johnson will inbound. And finally, they put him in a straitjacket. 2-on-1. Noel. Oy. He got up and punched that one away. Johnson in active pursuit, lethal pursuit from Huang. Noel Connell wants into the corner. Noel by himself and missing, but picked up by Stewart. Grappled across the arc. Spillman sizing up Fram. Now you see him, now you don't. Count it and one. And a tough move from E.J. Spillman.
Just filthy, Jared. And that's a situation where, you get no board, all of a sudden the defense is like, uh-oh. Well, I mean, we got to guard for another 35, and they can kind of relax and be like, all right, let me catch my breath. And Spillman says, you know what? While you're catching your breath, let me go ahead and have this dance on the left wing and do my thing.
Had career bests in just about every category last season. 14 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, almost a steal per game. And cashing in on the three-point play, and the lead is down to 3 for Edison. And now the defense chance. The fans are getting into it here in the second portion of this second quarter. Oy downhill, filling out to Fram. Waiting, Johnson drives inside and caught it off the iron. And that foul.
Yeah.
They tried to clash in and get an offensive rebound of their own.
Yeah, that's a tough one, I got to say. I mean, Johnson certainly got fouled on that drive there, but then have that loose ball foul after all the hands that Pacifica's been playing with her. I'm surprised that they went with a foul there. Solid officiating crew, though. I mean, Jared, you got a couple officials with 20-plus years of experience each in high school sports.
So no shots to be taken. It will be trying to take it out from their own half.
More zone here for Edison.
With the ball in hand, wraps around.
Looks like a flexed 2-3.
Down low to Stewart. And
filthy.
That's pretty basketball.
That's a beautiful set against that zone where you have two guys to guard 3 because you send the runner through, and then if they don't bump out, then there's the hands call. Finally, just talked about that. And if they don't bump, guess what? You just seal in that center guy because now the center has to pick one. Do I either step out on the center man who's flashing to the high post? Because if so, then it's going to be wide open underneath. It's a really good split action.
Caught by Fram, and Spillman steps out to meet him. Looking for options, and they have one in Oy, the younger brother, and Jackie Oy. Sizing up Stewart. Stewart's trying to send him to his right.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how
they
that
tried
happened.
to put him in a straitjacket. He had the wrap around the clamps on that one. He ripped out of that. So shifty.
So the officials just came over and told the shot clock operator to be a little bit more precise with their tallying of the clock, and Coach Bearcock took that opportunity to yell at the ref. So should the official try to stay away from the table?
Got to rattle the eardrums.
Yeah.
Flung and cut out by Connell. Spillman, no. Powering in, that was Swing, and he still got it. And it's Triton basketball. And they won a 30 here.
Really high effort play on the interior. Take a look at that. See who's the first one to the floor. That's always going to tell you who's going to win, and it's going to be Solomon Huang there. Incredible effort job. Pacifica, they're well coached, and they're going to keep fighting all the way through, and the effort plays like that are going to start adding up as they try to overcome this deficit, Jared.
Well, Edison won their first game of the season against Rancho Dominguez, 72-42. It was an away game. It wasn't quite too close. They topped the Lobos in quick fashion. This, of course, a different kind of contest. A top opponent in Pacifica Christian, who wrestle in one of the tougher conferences, as do Edison.
And to be honest, aside from this game, I don't really see Edison getting tested for a long time here. So I'm not saying they can cruise, but it'll be similar to how the Pacifica Christian girls just played and had had an Elsinore, essentially, to kind of get right. La Habra might be a solid one. Cyprus maybe, but I think their first test might actually be against Tesoro.
Well, Edison, 13-time league champions, but have not took the crown in the last 2 seasons. It was 2-4 in the conference last year, 29 overall. Los Al win a perfect 6-0 to win their 33rd title, eventually losing in the CIF quarterfinals. They're going to be a really tough team to beat this season. It is something that Coach Nate Berger talked about on media day. They're going to be fit, they're going to be fast, they're going to test your physicality. And so it's going to be a real fight in the Surf League for Edison. Driving to the cup, and might have been caught there and clipped, but no fouls, says the referee.
Yeah, but it was still a really good set where you kind of have a decoy. They thought about running America's play. At least it looked that way. As a beautiful steal here.
Popped away. Huang all behind the back with the sauce, the chili, and gets the roll.
No shocker there. That Huang, who just made the effort play down there, continues to make it and finally gets the flash to go along with some of that junk.
Oy waiting, leaning in, and catches air. Spillman surging forward. Shake and bake. Oy on skates. Out to Reynolds, a no-look dish. They work it around to Connell. Chargers scrambling to cover the arc. The open pass, the corner triple won't go. Rebounded by McNally. And under 2 to go, the Tritons finally back in a position of power here. Only a 1-point game, but they're finally kind of settling into the rhythm and getting the Chargers offset defensively.
That's to be expected. This is, a full 32-minute fight where you just got to keep showing up and keep jabbing.
But dish.
Fell asleep right there.
And Jack Fram, the senior, cashing in on an easy bucket. A defensive collapse from the home side. Huang and Connell waiting on the right side. Spillman eyeing his options. And that's easy as you like. He says too easy. Put him on an island, what can you do? But hope you don't run into a shark. It's Spillman. Connell carries it across. That's Stewart. From the corner, not to be.
We just heard Coach Bearkoff yell at Logan, stop celebrating and go get the offensive rebound. And, that was one of your best rebounders last season. Yeah, why not? Especially because Edison's kind of hemorrhaging on the offensive glass right now. They've already given up 8.
They'll expect a lot out of Stewart. One of the captains is... That is Jackie Oy now, following his brother's footsteps and hitting a big triple for the 2-point lead.
How about that? Getting the ball back tap from behind you, going and corral it, not even hesitating, as if he practices that. Holy cow.
Last possession of the half. Down low to Stewart. Time and space, and wraps around and leans in off the rim. 2 seconds, so they get a hurl? Yes, they are. I don't think McNally was too interested in that, but
I didn't really like that shot there from Stewart. He did his job. They get the ball inside. He drew 2. The defense collapsed. Now you got to find your shooters on the backside. But a highly entertaining first half, Jared, to say the least.
It had a little bit of everything. It is the Chargers who go into the break with a 2-point lead, 29-27. A lot to talk about, and we'll talk about it after this break. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, it's second half action.
What I experienced at Pacifica was a true community, where I was truly known by my teachers and my classmates. Because of this, Pacifica was a place where I could try new things and make mistakes without living in fear. When you're in a place where you're truly known and loved, the fear of failure disappears. That can be a tricky mindset to get into, especially for teenagers, but looking back now that I'm in college, the Pacifica community I experienced here set me up so well for all of my future endeavors. Because here I was known and loved, and because of that, I was free to explore who I was, knowing that I would be loved for that person. This has inspired in me a confidence and a grace for myself and others that has carried with me into college and beyond, and for that I'm truly grateful.
Welcome to the Freed Center for Leadership and Service.
Where God chooses to pour out his favor and to create a wave, our job is to ride it as far as it goes. And I believe that that's what we're doing.
It's not just about a building, it's about the students that will be educated for generations and generations in this building.
There could not be a better name to go on this building, because God commands us to love him and love others, which when we do that well, our life will be more fulfilled than anything we could possibly imagine. And so my charge to you students is to embrace that life, the Spirit-empowered life of Christ-centered leadership and service. And it's our job, our faculty, our staff, our alumni, and our friends to work towards equipping you to be the best version of yourself carrying out that mission. That's why this is the Freed Center for Leadership and Service.
This building will impact the lives of students for generations to come, as transformation happens in both the mundane, everyday moments and the extraordinary.
There's a lot that's going to go on in this space, but it was already dedicated to the Lord. Because in 1920, a school was started that was based on truth, virtue, and service, and we will not waver from that call.
Six years ago, our head of school had this incredible idea to throw toilet paper. Him and our AD and myself met, and we just said, let's do it. It sounded like this great idea that we could toss toilet paper in a basketball game, and the rest is history.
This event is so endearing to know that everybody is here for the same purpose, to cheer on our basketball team.
The best thing about Bring the Rain is that it brings everybody together. When we throw that toilet paper, we are all one.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. Small school, but like on the court, it just feels huge. 5 years ago when we started this tradition, I was a junior, and just seeing how much it's grown over the years is crazy.
We're all cheering for our team, especially when that first three-pointer hits and all the toilet paper comes flying. It's just such an amazing feeling.
All right, great to have you here in Newport Beach, California for the first annual Girls Basketball Showcase presented by Vangaurd Insurance. Got one time to go. And he rattles off to the backboard and down. And a little bit of a block, and count the basket and a foul. This is for the lead. Good!
Welcome back. Second half is ready to go. It started with an eruption, of course, for Bring the Rain night. E.J. Spillman hit the first triple. And you see it now, the size up, the still shot, and it just about rattles in and goes. That was his first point of the night. He finished that half with 13 to lead all scores. JJ, if you're Edison, what do you got to do to slow him down? Or are you understanding that you maybe can't slow him down and you got to hurt the Tritons in other ways?
Yeah, you know, I think there's a fine balance between the two. You have to understand that he is going to get his. I mean, the fact is, you know, he had 14 points per game last season. So yeah, he's definitely a good scorer, and he's going to continue to ascend. I expect him to be at around the 20-point a game mark this season. So you understand he is going to get his. However, you have to cut out the silliness. I mean, I think the zone is really hurting them at times because they've given up 8-0 boards. You cannot allow this team to get more opportunities to shoot than they already get, especially with a guy like Spillman who doesn't need many looks to get going, and the fact that you're giving him an extra 8 possessions to get going is really concerning. And so I think they got to shore up the offensive glass, and then the other part of that is you have to kind of throw different looks at him. I think you know, maybe a box and one might be, you know, if you really want to zone it up, yeah, let's go box and one where you show one guy on him, and then all of a sudden you have that supporting cast behind him in the zone if you really want to go to a zone because you don't believe in their other shooters. There's that aspect of it, but then it's also get Johnson going again. He had 10 points in the first half. I don't think he had enough shot attempts as well. It was Oy leading the rest of the way for them. I mean, with those 7, and then McNally chipped in another 7 quietly. I mean, I thought he was more dominant on the glass than anything else, but Edison cannot be complaining. A very hostile environment that Pacifica Christian is putting on, and yet they're still up by 2.
Edison Chargers and the Tritons readjusting in different ways. Edison losing the 5 seniors from last year, having to change some things in the lineup. And for Pacifica, they of course lose Alex Stewart and Quinn Johnson as well. Just the 2 seniors gone from last season. Stewart, we mentioned, going on to play for Vanguard. He is the 4th player out of Pacifica to play collegiately. Tanner Deal playing at Grinnell, Parker Strauss playing at UC Riverside, and Salem Seaman, who actually one of the guys who hit the Bring the Rain a couple of years ago. He's playing at SCC.
Hey, Jared, you know, I love you because of the prep work that you do, but you're missing one guy, and that's my boy Bahizi, Timothy Bahadur, who played for Vanguard University as well. He ended up playing also over at OCC after transferring out of here. But, you know, I'm not going to, you know, you're always sharp on your stats, Jared, so I'm not tripping off of that. But I will say, don't ever disrespect my boy Bahizi like that. Timothy Bahadur. My roommate for 3 years, so that's why I had to call you out on that.
And was he the guy at Corbin, or am I mistaking for someone else? No, that's Mazi Muhammad.
Yeah. Mazi Muhammad, he did not go to Pacifica Christian. He was a NorCal guy through and through, but it's going to be an exciting matchup. I mean, plenty of collegiate talent on this floor tonight, especially between Spillman and Johnson.
Sending out to the corner for the opening possession of the half. Oh, man. That was aggression
yep.
from Stewart there.
It was a really good set, though, coming out of half. They tried to go to an Aggie set here. I'm not sure about the timing that you wanted to go to it, but you get that baseline cutter, and then you screen the bottom half. But Edison was ready for it, and they did a really good job fighting through those screens.
And Johnson's got it. He was a player who averaged 24 points per game in the Scholastic National Preview back in September. So he goes to the baseline. The ball going to stay with the Chargers. Johnson looking, cutting off the angles, but he finally finds help in McNally. Threw it off the knee.
Just saw the second foul was picked up there, and it's just too much hands. I mean, we talked about it. That was across the women's side and evidently here on the men's side for Pacifica. Just way too much hands on the defensive front. You see more hands that the officials are letting go.
Johnson driving at Noel there and sends him to ground.
Really, really good no call there by the official. And yeah, I know that he certainly wanted it in Noel to be an offensive foul, but no dice there. If you're going to play with that much hands, the offensive player also has a right to move on his own.
Yeah, we saw in the first half, too, there was one where we were surprised, but that's letting it play on here. That's Stewart.
Got hit up around the inside. Got hit up around the neck there. But again, you see the double team right there once again from Edison coming. I think Stewart needs to do a much better job of feeling the area around him and understanding that, yeah, there's two on me, which means I got someone who's wide open on the backside for a knockdown triple.
And the career 58% foul shooter hits the first.
And then that was another area that we didn't really talk about in the first half. A lot of missed free throws for Pacifica in the first half. This is a team that shot about 60% from the line last season. Not where you want to be. You got to be at least around 70 to give yourself a chance.
And hits a pair, and it's a 2-point game. The Chargers have led for most of this game. Tritons did take a narrow 25-24 lead at one point. But they've been sharp. Have Edison. Johnson waiting. The pass into McNally, and wrestled away. That's Stewart ahead of steam in a fast 3-on-2. Goes at it alone.
Good take there by Edison. It was Jaden Oy setting up for the charge. His feet definitely were set, but he definitely started leaning before we just take a look on the replay. Oh, no, that right foot was still sliding a little bit.
And Coach Barakoff letting Gary know what he thinks there.
As you get a double dribble there on Framid. Just be glad that Coach Barakoff didn't see the replay there, because I'm sure he would have went nuclear knowing that he actually had a case.
Coach Barakoff in his 10th season. He has been here for the whole entirety of the ride for this wonderful program. Also became an assistant athletic director in 2017. He has been all about producing good guys on and off the court and building relationships and partnerships and orchestrating that commitment to the game and commitment to themselves and to Christ in the classroom. That rattles around the rim, and he was flying, was Noel. Almost thought he was going to jam that with the one hand.
I mean, somebody called Dua Lipa, because that boy was levitating right there.
As ball is with Oy. Picked it up from Luke Jenner, but couldn't cash in.
Edison did get lucky, though, because Owen Connell, we mentioned, he's a marksman from deep. Had a clean look after the inside-out one more triple.
And Spillman, the hezzy, trying to handle it through Oy. And no call for the Chargers. Johnson using the left hand, trying to extend and create some room, but it's an offensive foul. And Johnson pleads his innocence.
Let's see here. Yeah. Reno certainly set, and I think it was even a better play there on the man Noel, who was on the ball, because he kind of ushered him into that charge. Yeah, and a lot of times you see defenders kind of bail because of, oh, I'm beat because I'm on his hip, and so let me just bail out. No, you still have a job to do, especially as you get closer to the rim. Just send him into where the charge is at, and that's a really good play as Johnson tried to make a play on the ball.
Oh, good read, but he couldn't come up with it. I think he got poked in. Is he poked in the eye? Oh, man, he's dazed.
And he took a hard spill there.
And Oh, surely they're going to take him off
Yeah,
here.
I mean, the official is checking on him there as he continues to shake his head.
And he can shake his head all he wants. Look at him first and then send him back on, but you got to come off there being that dazed.
I mean, we both saw that teeter.
Oh, yeah. Look at it here. It takes a hard one to the chin.
Thankfully, his head didn't hit the floor. Afterwards, you see a lot of times those head injuries come off not necessarily the initial contact, but when it hits the floor.
Seen him, he was sipping the water. He's back on his feet and standing. I think he's just hungry to get back into this game. Wants to maintain the lead here for Edison as he's finally sitting down. Is DJ. How do they orchestrate the offense without him? They've had the Oy brothers to thank for taking care of the basketball. Flung out to McNally. Driving down the help defense from Stewart, but they fling it to the far corner. And lining up the big man. And it won't fall for Leslie.
I'm not mad at that take, though. You got to make the defense respect it. And it looked good enough. I think Pacifica's going to have to start closing out at least, and that's going to create more closeouts.
And lining up offline, poked by Stewart. And, you know, Leslie, he's the kind of guy this season who's been talking about trying to figure out his spots on the floor. Where am I most dangerous? Where can I be aggressive? And so adding that range to his game could be a lethal weapon this season. Oh, that's cookies. The clamps from Noel. And catches away off guard from the corner, Reynolds. And the captain, Hudson Reynolds, brings the lead back to Pacifica. Caught in transition. Oh no, Connell. Caught looking skyward. Didn't see that basketball flash to him in transition.
Smart timeout here for Coach Beatty. Just settle everything down and get his man Johnson back into the game.
So it's the Tritons surging back. They lead for the first time here in the second half. So DJ went down with the head spill there and a little bit dazed, was back on his feet, is back in the game, actually, for Edison, but
good sign.
Be alert because he's got the 3 fouls, and should he have to sit for large portions of the second half, that could, especially as we're approaching the fourth quarter, can really change how Edison have caught in rhythm and played in rhythm so far tonight. That's McDonald who's battling. Connell clipped inside and caught off glass.
Pacifica going to go back to this 2-2-1 zone. Excuse me, the 2-1-2. And that's creating many problems here.
Spilled. And they're taking everything they're getting.
That's now 6 turnovers just this quarter after having only 3 the entire first half.
And the game's flipped on its head. Edison in trouble, and they turn it over again. 2-on-1. Stewart waiting, gets the roll.
I would look to get Johnson off the ball right now and have him just kind of sit and seal off Stewart in that middle part of the defense and get someone to that corner. You got 2 guys standing on the backside. You can't have that.
Oh, they're wrapping up Johnson. as he goes to ground and bailed out.
You see
by the foul there.
So Jacob McDonald is getting his first run this game, and as you see, there's only 2 fouls now here. But McDonald's getting his first look. He was just standing here on the opposite side with Jackie Oy, and you cannot have that. As you're now going to see a fan favorite, Sammy Gibbs, check in as you hear the crowd roar. But yeah, just like that, you had Johnson flash to the middle of that zone, and that creates problems now for Pacifica. There's now too much hands, but I think that's going to be the recipe for success to break out his zone, is just put Johnson right in the middle and just seal off whoever that middleman is in the 2-1-2.
Another foul on the inside. Gibbs is getting adjusted. The 6'1" junior played in 16 games last season, and combined for the moment of the month, the Pacifica Christian moment of the month, that is a flashy play. Him and Spillman combining a no-look pass as the two standing side by side. Johnson missing the first free throw.
Wow. I haven't really got a chance to ask you this year, but the new rule for high school this season, it borrows kind of from the women's side of college basketball, where you have, or even the NBA, where you have 5 fouls and then you're in the bonus. And it's double bonus, but you got rid of the single bonus, and it resets every quarter. So I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, coming from, the 7 and 10, and I don't know, it's interesting. I'll see how it works out, but at least he got 1 of 2.
And they need to stop the bleeding in the open court, the open floor, because, man.
Excuse me.
Spillman, the no-look, and he was trying to put him on the rack attack. He's trying to...
Yeah,
put him on a highlight reel. Put him on, look at this.
Excuse me, I'm going to split you. I'm going to go around you, and guess what? I don't even need to touch you because I'm dumping it off, as Johnson was complaining about the foul. That's his 4th.
It was Reynolds rising to the summit as he hits there.
That's going to sit Johnson for the foreseeable future. I'm not seeing him until probably around the 5-minute mark of the 4th quarter, depending on how out of hand this one gets.
Yeah, they're going to attack him too, without question.
But at least you have, an enforcer, somebody who could still kind of keep the boat steady in Leslie coming into the contest. Is now Spillman gets a blow.
Hogan returns. Reynolds back of the line, first team all-league, actually for volleyball.
Oh, wow.
For Pacifica, a two-way kind of player. He's a very, very good outside for the Tritons.
This is what you can't have, though, for Solomon Wayne. You cannot foul 90 feet away from the basket. That's going to allow Edison to maybe find their rhythm again offensively, because it's been a bit of a dry spell here. And it's a 13-3 extended run here to start the second half. Only 3 points in 6 minutes to start the quarter. Not what you're looking for Edison. Pacifica has kind of found their groove here defensively.
And hitting the first. Just taking their time and trying to cut into this lead. They go 1 for 2. Really wanted to cash in. Again, the bonus is going to, I don't want to say bail them out, but it's going to help Edison draw back into this game. But again, Pacifica just looks so fluid in motion.
They're piecing up the zone right now. They've got all the answers. And if I'm Edison, though, offensively, you mentioned the bonus, I would just be downhill the entire time and make the refs call something, especially considering how much Pacifica is hand-checking.
Well, JD, the last time these two teams met, it was Edison who won 59-44. They had a 15-5 run in the third quarter to take over. And now the story kind of flipped on its head, because it's Pacifica in takeover mode here in the third.
Interesting. So this might not be, as big of a factor. Actually, I would argue it is, because they did not call a kick ball there on Gibbs, which means that Edison's only got 10 seconds to score this ball. No reset on the shot clock.
The Chargers with 8 seconds to work with. File down to Oy. Tough jumper. And
Great
it won't
box.
go, and Coach Beatty's got the hands up. Not liking that shot selection from his side. It's flung out to the corner, and that's Gibbs. No good. Who'd you expect but Stewart to come up with a rebound? Another try, and another triple. And the Tritons are running away with it.
Leslie's got a flash middle, and there you go. More hands. And they'll be bonus once more, and that's what the Chargers need to kind of hold serve for them. The bad part about that, though, is the bonus is going to reset at the fourth quarter, so Pacifica can kind of get aggressive again and really turn them up, and the game might break open at that point.
A 12-point lead has been their best as Hogan demanding more from the fans, wants to get them loud. It's missing the first. You talked about Pacifica missing a lot in that first half. And now it's the Chargers who struggle. And another look, all alone, and he hits it.
More zone here for Edison. This one's a 2-3. Now they split and they go to an off-guard front where they stagger the two up top. Now they're going to have that split action again.
Coming off another screen. Gibbs, another try.
Oh, the roof would have came off this place. Oh, there is no way that... Oh, I'm going to have to see a replay on that because there's no way that... Based on my vantage point, there's no way that they got Leslie for that. Leslie has inside position, you see here, and then look who's hooking around him as Leslie's the one who gets dragged down to the ground. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. Oh, poor Leslie. Holy, has a big, I feel for you.
Caught in 4K, but unfortunately for Leslie, they call for the foul. They got to defend, tough out the stack. Spillman's check back on.
They're going to be content to take the last one, too. That's really smart here to get your guy to probably take the last shot. But the count is on. He's got to get off it.
Swung across to Reynolds. Hot potato here for the Tritons. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Down low to Stewart. The cutting Spillman. Spinning off. Stewart. And it's smooth. It's supple. It's certain. It is the Tritons quarter. It's been the Tritons half. Electric from the start, electric from the jump. And efforts led by, really, you could say Spillman, but everyone getting a hand into it. They forced so many turnovers from Edison. And that has been the story here in the third quarter. A lot to do for Edison, a lot left to see. We'll step aside. It's the finale of Bring the Rain night when we come back. So Coach Josh Beatty, in his first season with Edison, his 12th officially as a head coach, has a lot to do to get his side back into it. You got Johnson in foul trouble. You got a whole herd, a bushel of turnovers. And still so much to do, but you'd expect him to have his team come out with the right kind of attitude. Of course, was with Fountain Valley last season, actually swept Edison in the season series when the two sides met. A four-time league champion and a 2018 CIF Coach of the Year. This guy has done it all, going all the way with Crean Lutheran. But to the action in front of us, JJ, You know, we talked about to start the half, oh, how do you slow down Spillman as he has the ball now? Now it's how do you take care of the basketball and avoid Johnson fouling out?
Yeah, I mean, 7 turnovers in 1 quarter is not a recipe for success, and that's why they only had 5 points the whole quarter. Not a good look there for Edison. Not a good quarter. The good news is you still got 8 minutes to play as you see more hands there, but no call. And it was a step out of bounds there for Hogan. And honestly, I think they got to take the pressure back to him. Pacifica Christian, they went to their kind of 3-quarter court press, and it was a 2-1-2. Now they're going to give it a different look. It's going to be a 2-2-1. And I think you got to get Johnson off the ball. It's a miracle to see him back in, considering the fact that he's got that many fouls. But we'll see how that goes as Reynolds pursues that one.
And Spillman can bring it across the timeline.
Yeah, a lot of hands there. The crazy thing is you could call that foul almost any possession, considering both these teams have just been playing more with their upper body than the lower body.
No look pass from Spillman, top of the key. Wang.
Oh, great box out by Leslie. Ooh.
That's Stewart. Oh, man, it's Leslie holding the shoulder, and it's Stewart. They both wrapped arms. No.
Take a look here. Another good box out.
Look at it's behind the head.
And watch, and his head, his head hits the ground too.
He's tugging that left shoulder. Bent backwards really when he fell on it. There's Johnson trying to steer his way through traffic. Johnson still with the right hand and flashes off the harbor. They are throwing the bodies around, aren't they, both ends, giving everything they got here in the final quarter. Spillman downhill, pass inside, but an offensive foul.
Yeah, Spillman's asking why, you know, it's the same call as the other one, but I thought that Johnson did a better job of controlling his speed downhill on the opposite side. Meanwhile, you see Spillman here. He really was never looking at 2 in Frim. And now it's going to be a timeout here. But, yeah, offensive foul there on Spillman.
And looks like it's going to be a 30 here. Gary just making sure everyone's on their feet. As Pacifica will return to action against Brentwood. That'll be November 30th. And then it's their time to have a look at the showcase. That'll be in January at the Train Event Center for Pacifica Christian. Meanwhile, for Edison, it's a game tomorrow against San Joaquin Memorial. And then a game on the 26th against Cypress.
Tell you what, for Pacifica Christian, they're going to play one of my old foes, Merida Mesa, on December 10th. That's going to be a fun one. And I'm not going to lie, I'm rooting for Pacifica in that one. Merida Mesa was not very kind to me.
So the 2-time defending champs in the San Joaquin League holding on to a large lead, trying to trap the Chargers in their own half.
You got a 3-on-1, you better score.
And they do, they heard you, JJ. And they hit, and can they go on a little bit of a run?
I mean, it's still only a 10-point game. It feels like a lot worse to be, you know, all things considered. That's a huge triple there to kind of bring this one back down a little bit, something more manageable as they try to flood the high post here.
Been having a lot of droughts on their trips. Stewart to Reynolds. Kick out from the corner. Fling, and he is automatic.
There just wasn't that second effort there as you see another turnover.
Fling rising in. No foul, says the referee. Johnson ready to go the other way. Stops on a dime. Pops it out to Oy. Catch and shoot. And connects.
Right back at you with a triple, and all of a sudden it's Oy who's saying, all right, guys, let's go. Let's put the team on my back here. Johnson, I like the idea to stop and pop. Got off it and thought about making a face cut there downhill, but Oy said, no, we're going to triple, and now we got to get a stop. But that defensive possession where it was Huang who hit that corner triple, again, the zone for Edison is not there. What I would probably try to do, as crazy as it sounds, is go man and actually invite Spillman to get downhill because he's picked up a charge already. Let's see if he's learned his mistake. Just one possession, let's try it, and let's see if we can put him in foul trouble where you invite the downhill drive, and even if he passes the ball, hope that he runs through the screen or runs through his drive and his pass and commits an offensive foul.
So Owen Connell is going to check back in for Pacifica. Started last season, and father, the assistant coach. Little fun story, his father actually wanted to play collegiate basketball, but got the scholarship running track. And
Scully's a Scully.
Yeah, scholarship's a scholarship. Owen following his footsteps, playing some basketball, and likewise playing track, or running track, I should say, at Pacifica Christian, as he's checked on and is hanging out.
Here it is. Here's that man. Man-to-man. Oh, but Johnson got beat there. But it's a good help side defense as Stewart then commits the foul. Johnson asking for the hook to be called on the next one. But right on cue, Jared, what we talk about coming out of that timeout. Go back to man because they're just piecing up that zone. And now Logan Stewart's got 4 fouls.
And he's been a big presence on the board. Don't want him to foul out now. The Chargers kind of going to run.
Both teams going man now. Interesting.
Boy, out of options. Finds a flicker, a hope in Fram, and gets it back.
Notice how Edison is all ball chasing right now. That should open up a driving lane somewhere.
Spinning off against the larger Reynolds. That's a tough shot to get off. He's going to fight to win his own rebound. Time and space, and lines it up. No good. Johnson's bumped off the ball.
That's going to be on Reynolds. I thought it was a good, just physical box out, as we've seen him do the entire night, it feels like.
Certainly been letting him play. Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, it wasn't there. It was actually on this box out right here. A good embellishment there from Johnson. And now they're going to call it on Reynolds again. No, actually, they're going to go on Connell away from the ball. Now it's bonus the rest of the way. So Edison, once again, first to the bonus, and now that can help them if they continue to drive downhill. They can kind of elongate this game, create more positions for themselves, and that's how you get back in the game.
They can slow down the pace and try to get some freebies at the line. Struggle to shoot it in the third quarter. And need to see them fall through here in this fourth. Offline, they go 1 for 2. And it's going to stay with the Chargers.
Yeah, Johnson's got to be a little careful there, though, to not get an over the back call. Yeah, it was a good push, and, you know, we'll take the extra possession, but that's got to be on someone else's job. There's a nice lob play there, and it's another foul. That's, I mean, I guess when it rains, it pours, I guess, on Bring the Rain night. Sorry. You know, my other broadcast partner, Zuby, who I do baseball with, you know, he always gets mad at me for making jokes like that. So I'm glad you appreciated that.
Johnson gets the first. They really need to cut into this lead. Brought it back to single digits. Tritons were running away with it. And 1 for 2 again.
Yeah.
And if you cash in on both, it's a possession game. Johnson flies out. Oh, man.
You can't do that.
And he's lunged in.
You can't do that. Well, thankfully for Edison, they put that one on Jackie Oy.
I mean, his hand was in there.
I mean, why would you gamble on that knowing you? I mean, does he know he has 4 fouls? I mean, very, very interesting. It's a turnover.
Oy has his brother to his right.
It's another foul. This game is going to get interesting really quick. And now Coach Barakoff, I think, wants to calm everything down. I think including the official's whistle, for that matter.
Has to try to settle the ship here. It's a full timeout. It's a full look for Coach Barakoff to talk it over and just try to change the tempo here as the Chargers try to fight their way back. 50-42, the Tritons lead with 4:51 left to play. Bring the Rain, a tradition dating back since 2018. The Tritons have only lost once on Bring the Rain night, 4-1. That came in 2019 to Rancho Christian, a 6-point loss, 83-77. JJ, when they win on Bring the Rain night, they win by an average of 24.5 points.
Well, it's going to be a lot closer tonight, I'll tell you that. And it's going to be a little bit, I mean, this might even be an Edison, stealing one tonight.
Cagey.
Yeah, very cagey. But that Rancho Christian team of 2019, I mean, how good were they? I mean, yeah, they just lost Mobley to USC, but I mean, Jordan Montgomery was filthy as just like E.J. Spillman. Come on, Jared. And it's a travel there.
And Spillman stops the bleeding out of the break.
And so it was a really good look there by Coach Barakoff because, what did I talk about with Edison? Go man and invite the downhill drive and take the charge. But what Coach Barakoff did so well there is he drew everyone out, so there was no help side. Really, really good chest match there, and it's a 5 count. Much to the chagrin. I mean, that stare could kill.
If looks could kill.
Yeah. Oh, man. No, I don't want to say if. I think that stare actually could kill. Holy cow. Coach Barakoff just gave his player Reynolds a nasty look.
He's as friendly as he is intense. Demands a lot from his players. Demanding a lot now down the stretch. Oy. McNally rolls. That leaves a little bit of room for Oy to go inside. Offline on the jumper. Over the back from McNally. But it's picked up by the Tritons.
I didn't like that take at all from Oy.
And Spillman, a powerful drive. And a grown man's move said, get out of my way.
Yeah, the grown man move in terms of saying get out of my way. But how about the touch? I mean, it's rare to have a guy of his size and power to have that nice of a touch at the rim. Really, really impressive stuff.
Johnson.
Yeah.
And brought to ground.
Smart, just get downhill. But Johnson does have to be careful about now picking up a charge. But as long as he can drive, stick a stop, and kick for threes if they do set up for a charge. And that's going to be 5 now on Logan Stewart, a man who leads the team.
He's saying, I got 5.
I don't think he could believe that was the 5th one.
5 and a 5. I mean, the way the fouls have been coming, it's easy to forget.
Yeah.
How many you got?
I mean, they've been coming in droves in this quarter specifically. So Logan Stewart, a man who was now there's some confusion. The assistant coaches who were keeping track, they said they only had 4, but the official statistician is like, no, we got 5.
Well, according to Logan Stewart, he said he had a 1. He said, I got 1 on the offensive foul.
But Logan Stewart, I mean, this was a guy who, really put on a show last year. Was 14th in California Division I in total double-doubles, 7 of them. Really impressive stuff for him, but now we're going to miss him for the rest of the night. His presence not only on the glass, but in terms of his point production. But it's going to be Spillman's show. You got to figure with the 3.5 to go.
54-46, 8-point game, driving down an open lane.
So now you got to get into a chess match now, because what Coach Barakoff's do is now going back to his spread game, so there is no help. So now Edison should probably look to get back to zone 1 possession to make them think, to make everyone think as Johnson gets a clutch and 1.
He was hot in the first quarter, and he's finding his footing once again here in the 4th.
That's going to be 4 fouls now on Noel.
The starters in some trouble. As Johnson, they need them to fall. He's missed, 4 or 5 now?
Yeah, there's a lot of missed free throws here. They had 6 coming into this quarter.
And it's still an 8-point game. Nice pass from Spillman. They're going to dare him to shoot. Ooh. And, well.
Never mind.
The way he's been shooting tonight, you wouldn't want to give him that space, but
sometimes that actually does wonders to your brain where it's like, oh shoot, maybe why are they leaving me open? And so being that wide open actually messes with you.
Johnson leaning in, that's Wang on the rebound, and he's flashing away. And quick fire from Noel.
Good Olay defense there by Oy.
And smokes the bucket on the inside. 2:24 left to play. Johnson working on Noel. Gets it on his right hand, rolls around the rim. Back through the iron. Brazen off the far end. And Johnson still a third try. And third tries the charm. Count it in the foul.
Spillman's down.
6-point game. Let's see here. Spillman. He's holding his face. Oh, no, but he's hobbling as he gets up.
The right ankle looked like it turned when he went down. But he's favoring the left, though. And Noel.
So Spillman's going to have to sit here. Hogan's coming on.
Well, Spillman said, I'm good.
And is he returning? No, it's going to be Gibbs, who comes on here. And Spillman, I mean, he said it on media day. This is a team, they've got a lot of returners, 1 year older, 1 year more experience. That's their advantage. They have to use that experience to take care of the game. With 2:11 left to play, a 5-point lead here for the Tritons.
Oh, don't reach there. Don't gamble.
And again, an open lane. And Johnson, I mean, he can't put a hand in.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be a risky call. I like the fact that he got on the way, but now we're getting to under 2. And maybe someone else, that would have been a charge attempt.
Johnson waiting from the corner, puts it up. Won't go. Rebound, Johnson.
So it was a good first initial attempt on the box out by Sammy Gibbs, but what ends up happening is he doesn't clear him out enough. So once Johnson actually gets his hands on the ball and he puts it up down, that becomes an uprooting and he undercuts the shooter. That's why it's a foul. If he had just moved him out a little bit further, then you probably are going to get an over the back foul on Derek Johnson.
So Johnson, who we've praised for his ability to control the basketball and handle the basketball, he has been all over the glass here in this fourth quarter. And every free throw is huge now down the stretch. Edison enjoying the bonus. There's some mopping to do.
Yeah, and Coach Barakoff, I don't know if you can hear, but he is screaming at the foul count just this quarter is 11-2. Now I think he's going to get a stern warning from official Ruben Gonzalez as they're having a one-on-one conversation. Pretty animated discussion.
It's been a buy two get one free kind of exchange for fouls here.
This might be a liquidation sale on fouls. Remember, both sides still have the 2 timeouts. And now it's going to be Spillman. Look at him coming back to the table as Johnson knocks down the free throw for a lengthy delay.
Spillman is back. Gibbs is going to make way.
Mentioned last season, free throw percentage was a bit of a woe for the Tritons, but Spillman was 10th in California Division I in total free throws made at 122. So that's definitely not the guy you want to foul here as we're approaching 90 seconds left.
Spillman with the rock and gives it to Reynolds. And Huang. And Connell. And into the pocket for Hogan.
It's probably worst case scenario for Edison because you just wasted 21 seconds, 14 seconds left on the shot clock, and you commit a foul. That's a fresh 35, and Pacifica can just milk another 35. And I think Coach Barakoff deserves credit for that one.
And maybe just applying the pressure there.
Yeah. It'll be a full timeout there for Edison. Now they have one remaining.
The Chargers trying to climb their way back, down by 5 with 1:23 left to go here in the fourth quarter. The Tritons trying to put it away in their season opener. But the Chargers still knocking on the door, a 5-point game with 1:23 left to play.
You know, it's interesting. After that timeout, or excuse me, after the foul right there, I actually wouldn't have called a timeout if I was Coach Beatty. I would have actually subbed out Johnson and saved my timeout for the offensive side. So if I do get a stop, I'm going to burn my timeout there, put Johnson back into the game. But defensively, I'm shocked that Johnson is still in. Part of the issue is you only have the one timeout left, so you kind of are forced to leave him in with a 2-possession game. And I'm shocked that he's on Spillman nonetheless.
A slip from Spillman.
Ooh. So loose ball. Coach Barakoff got that timeout off in time. They're debating
you
over.
Full, but you have a 30.
Well, they have one of each, so they're actually going to use the 30 here.
30 seconds to figure things out. This is that awkward stage where, you know, on paper, Pacifica should take care of business.
Yeah.
But we've seen crazy things. And also with the amount of free throws we've seen, I mean, I wish we could get a collective stat on that. It has been absurd how many missed free throws would change the tempo of this game and just apply that much more pressure on Pacifica.
I mean, if they had made all the free throws, they'd be in the lead right now. It's that simple. So, I mean, even if you made 90% of your free throws, you would still be in the lead right now. And I don't know. Let's see what goes on here as they get the trap on Spillman. Ooh.
Reynolds with the mouthpiece wagging around the front of the lip. Trapped and tucked. And Hogan, the pass. And spinning off, looking for Huang. Could this be the dagger? No. And picked up by Johnson. They got to go quick here.
Johnson still, you have time to get downhill. Don't have to settle for a triple.
In transition, a wild shot. And another try. Under a minute left to play.
Get downhill.
Oy, a handout by Connell.
There you go.
A triple from the corner. Got it.
There you go. It's that simple, Jared. Get downhill, because what is Pacifica trying to not do? Foul right now. So you're going to have a driving lane, and then it's a wide open triple right there. Inside out threes are the best threes in all of basketball.
A 2-point game. A final timeout burned for Pacifica. Look at that.
Wow, look how close he was to stepping out of bounds, too. Funky shooting mechanics, it doesn't matter. He has been hot so far in the fourth quarter. That's his third triple of the period, Jared.
Heating up at the right time. Can Pacifica hold on? We'll find out after this short break.
Jared, coming out of this timeout here, really interesting point that I don't think the officials caught. Usually he catches at the college level specifically, but Sammy Gibbs just checked in after the first horn. So each timeout has the first horn at about 15 seconds after the timeout that all the subs have to be reported in by. But Gibbs checked in after the first horn. Not supposed to be allowed, yet the officials did not catch it.
That means Gibbs has the go-ahead. He's hanging around in the middle of your screen, the number 1 for the Tritons. As that triple from Jackie Oy makes it a 2-point game with 44.9 left to play. DJ Johnson leads the way. He's got 23. But that triple, the story, it's what keeps the Chargers with a chance.
The fact that Johnson is still on the floor right now for Edison tells me that they are not going to foul this possession, because if you were going to foul, you would take him out, make sure he doesn't pick up his fifth foul, and then you put him in after you commit the foul. So to me, that says they're going to try to play it out.
I don't know, the way they've ripped through them when they try to press, I could see Spillman getting this ball and easily sniping one in the pocket. But can they force the error from the Tritons? They do find Spillman. He clutches on and makes the right pass. And
it's a risky move. If you were just going to foul right away, why not take, I mean, that's their 4th foul, so we're still not bonus yet. I'd get Johnson out of this one right now.
And jumping the gun might just be a
shot clock issue.
Shot clock issue.
Still a fairly new gym. We're still working out the bugs ourselves.
Student section has been on their feet for I don't even know how long.
That's the guy you want to commit the foul on.
Gibbs towards Reynolds.
That is not the guy.
Edison trying to trap. Surely a bucket here. Might just put it away. Spillman driving in. Reynolds for the game. No. Popped around. Big board by Gibbs. And they're going to hold on to it with 5 on the shot clock. Johnson can't foul.
Oh.
And he's fouled out on. Wow,
that is now 5. Oh my goodness. And you saw him, he intentionally had his hands off. Yeah, you see here. I mean, that's a tough one for, you know, the best player on the court to go out on.
It's an easy call to make with the momentum, but when you watch it back and when you look at the moment, I mean,
that's a tough one.
Not the kind of ending you want. You want the ball in his hands for this last possession here.
Yes, absolutely. With 10.9 remaining as well. It'll be interesting. But now you're going to get Leslie in. Coach Beatty still upset.
A shot they didn't just foul earlier. And Swing gets the first. One more here.
It'll be interesting to see if Coach Barakoff elects to burn one here. Now remember, in high school, there's a running clock, so the Chargers have to score fast. Maybe, so here's the thing, you could use a delay of game penalty because they haven't used one yet.
Missing the second.
New point, though.
A triple will tie it.
Use the foul.
Boy, Coach Barakoff urging his team to foul. Flipped up, popped down, and
wow.
That might just be the game.
Well, you got point 4. You can get a shot off legally. I think Coach Barakoff is saying don't foul.
Hey, he wanted that early, and they played the waiting game. 0.4 left to go. Got to put up a triple. Coming off the screen, Oy flushed off it to Leslie. Tipped away. Game over.
Wow.
And Pacifica Christian, after a hot start from the Chargers, come back strong in that third quarter, take over with the turnovers forced. And in the fourth quarter, well, there were some scares, but a composed performance down the stretch, despite some foul troubles, despite some I don't say foul disorder, but definitely want more fouls to one side or the other. They had to adjust.
A heavy hand, certainly. And the fact that Edison was able to charge back into this game is really because of the turnover rate. Yeah, they committed 9 turnovers in the second half. Never a good thing. But the fact of the matter is, Pacifica Christian was out-rebounding them on offensive glass significantly. It was by 7, and then Edison ended up making it dead even at 10 apiece later in the contest. So a terrific job by Edison to get back in the contest when it was looking like it was going to be a blowout early on, as you see Stewart and Johnson exchange pleasantries. Two really high-level players right there. But, Jared, a terrific game. These two teams are going to be, I'm sure they're going to see each other down the line, hopefully in CIF playoffs, because these are a couple of Division I teams that are absolutely phenomenal.
Well, both these teams with a lot left in the tank for the season.
Yep.
It'll be Edison, as we talked about, returning to action tomorrow. A quick turnaround on the back-to-back against San Joaquin Memorial. And for Pacifica, they'll wait a little bit and play against Brentwood on the 30th. But what a fun night from start to finish. Trading runs, the Chargers leading it for most of the way.
The whole first half.
They went on, what, an 8-0 run with a couple of straight turnovers. And
the third quarter killed them. That's what it was, where they only had the 7 points in the entire quarter. Great defense by Pacifica. That really was the game changer. That was the game changer, Jared.
They're going to look back at the free throws. They're going to look back at the third quarter. But a lot to build on for Edison. And a lot to look forward to for Pacifica. But that is going to do it. A wonderful night here on Bring the Rain Night.
Jared, we got to give a huge shout out to our camera operators, Randall, Daniel, and Oscar. We love you guys so much. It was a terrific job. And our producers,
Joseph and David. And what a show they put on for you from start to finish. All the graphics, all the angles, all the action in 4K. And everything you could ask for and some. So be on the lookout for them in the Triton Event Center this season. But that's going to do it here from Jared Roan and JJ Johnson. A wonderful night from Bring the Rain. But that's the closing action here. It finishes as the Tritons are victorious, 59-56. We'll call it a night. We thank you for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed, and we hope that you'll tune in next time to TVX. Good night.